Well, good rising, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee Talk with Karen B. I feel like I was just here. I was just here, which is cool, you know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I still have enough stuff to talk about with y'all. I'm sure it'll be fine. Because it's Coffee Talk and anything goes. Hello, Ashley Claudio, Ashley Knopp, Scott Hunter, and Rose, who shows up in Rockfin under the Crow777 account. Good to see you all over there on Rockfin. What's up? What's up? And on the YouTubes, Aisling717, Artist Seer, still in Guatemala, Anson Howard, good to see you, Billingtano, Alpine Endeavor, Jeremy Coakley, Commercial Sound and Video, Spicy Sarah, Three Fingers, Tristan Lavrek. Get out and exercise today, people. I'm projecting. This is a good, you know what though? I think we're all starting to feel that way because spring's on its way. It's almost time for spring. It's starting to get warmer. And the cold weather is starting to wane. And so I'm feeling that too, that like, let's get out and do stuff. And I think like everybody is. Flatty915, Mother Dragon, Jay. Does anyone know what the name is of the exact list is that utility companies and the like have on each account that also shows payments made on behalf of your legal fiction by governing dead bodies? I don't know what you're talking about there, Mother Dragon, but I'm interested to know what if you find out. Melodome, FE Nation, Greek letter person, Ted Summer, Zane Solo. Like a late night jazz solo? Yeah. TC Zamman, Benny Boy. TJ Hoff, good morning from Pittsburgh. Unindoctrinated. Good day, y'all. Good day, y'all. Foraging season. Ashley on Rockfin is my bestie. Right on, y'all. All right. Well, it's good to see you. Good to see y'all. Do you all have your coffee? I have mine. My last... this piece of hair, it's poking me in the eyeball. It's my last half of a cup for today. Because I've already drank a bunch of coffee this morning. I mean, you know how it is. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and remind y'all about the meetups that are going on. That's going to be, I'm going to start doing this in the beginning of my streams, just like we do on Strange World, so that everybody can stay up to date and you guys can get out there and meet each other and make friends. Okay? We want you to make other flat earth friends, and it is our pleasure to help you do so. So if you go to flatearthfestivals.com, there is a menu item at the top. It says Flat Earth Friendly Meetups. Just click it. There's a drop-down menu that pops up too. It says Recurring Meetups, Florida Recurring and Past Meetups. The Recurring Meetups page has meetups that happen monthly. Florida Recurring was a page I made when Florida had like 7 monthly meetups going, but they don't really have that much anymore. I'm not even sure if the Florida Recurring meetups are still happening, to be honest with you guys. I might remove this menu item and just have recurring meetups, because the Florida meetups that started so hot and heavy in the beginning have sort of calmed down, died off a little bit, which is cool, but I just want to make sure my website stays up to date. But there's been a new meetup added for St. Petersburg, Florida, Saturday, March 4th. I think that's next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, right? Is that this weekend? Oh my gosh, there goes Remy. Yeah, that's a week from... Yeah, that's in 5 days, 6 days. So this weekend, March 4th in St. Petersburg, Florida, starting at 1 p.m. at Booker Creek Park. There's an address here, a little bit of instructions. Look for the pavilion about 300 feet to the left of the Boulder Creek Park sign. Look for the FE sign. They have a meetup page at meetup.com. And there is a link to their meetup page at meetup.com. If you're within driving distance to St. Petersburg, Florida, and you want to attend a Flat Earth meetup this Saturday. All right? Yeah, but she hasn't sent me details on that yet. Okay, so... And then, of course, the next weekend, we're busy. Flat Earthers are busy already. We're getting busy. On the 12th in South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina, join the South Carolina, well, the Kakalaki Flat Earth crew. It's North Carolina and South Carolina all together. The Carolinas basically is one, and there will be a bunch of us there. I'll be there. Spicy, Sarah, Griff. I think Carl said he was going to come. So there'll be a bunch of us at this meetup as well. So March 12th, starting at 2 p.m. Then on the next weekend, March 18th, is Sunset Beach, California. FE meetup hosted by Trudy and Renee Calucia. Flatterday, March 18th, 2023, noon till 11 p.m. at Oceanfront Property. Mark Sargent will be attending this meetup. So Renee and his wife, they're an awesome Flat Earth couple. They've been here like pretty much the whole time. Really supportive of the community. And they are flying Mark Sargent down to Sunset Beach for the meetup. March 18th on the equinox. So how fun is that? That's super cool. Also, Tucson hikes. If you're in Tucson, Arizona area, next weekend, this coming weekend is their first hike. Then they're having a hike, another hike on April 1st. All the details to the hikes in Arizona are on the webpage, and links to RSVP to the organizer. Also, later this year in June, we've got Jam in the Plain at Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is Josh Fathead Perkins, who this is his property, and he holds this event privately at his property, which is super cool of him. I mean, inviting a bunch of people to your property to make a big mess is a big undertaking, and I think, you know, it's pretty cool of this guy to do that. So he's got a Telegram group, and he also commented here with his email address. If you don't feel like doing the Telegram thing, you can hit me up at his email. I think it says viper_edd@yahoo.com. Anyway, there's a link. He commented here. I mean, I should add that to the post. But he says if you don't want to join Telegram to get information, you can email him for details and RSVP. If you want to take part in this looks like a lot of fun. Truth or Jam session, talent show, barter, meetup, camp out on private property, karaoke night on Friday. That looks like a really good time. If I was in Colorado, I would go to that. I don't know about y'all. Yeah, as soon as you guys get information for your other meetups, just send them to me and I'll put them on the website. Is there still Fort Myers meetup on the 12th? Let me check. Some of those Florida recurring, they had me take down already. So what's still up? Titusville is still up. Daytona, Ormond Beach, Fort Myers. Is that the one you were asking about? Yeah, Fort Myers. So, Fort Myers on the second Saturday of every month. Okay, well, there's a contact for this one, John Q. Adams. So if you're there, go contact John Q. Adams at this number. He's the contact for Fort Myers. So I would go to the website, get his contact, and call him Find out if they're going. And then Castaway Point. I think that was the first one I posted. So these are still up. And honestly, I don't know if they're still happening. You guys got to let me know. I sent an email out earlier, and some of them got removed and some of them still remain. But do they actually happen? I don't know. But they do have contacts on there. So I would say contact those people. The ones that have contacts. I'm just here to kiss Karen's ass. Well, thank you, No Despair Bear. I don't know why that came up, but okay. Just Jack came by this weekend helping us with our garden. Always amazing to have good local amigos. Yeah, that's right. Jack told me that he would be going over there to help you guys start your garden, which is awesome. Amazing. I don't know what all seeds you've got, but if you need some seeds, Sarah, I got a lot. I got a lot. Sherry Ives, did you hear me talk about the meetup that you just told Sarah that you hadn't heard of it? It's the 12th, right here. It's at Drayton Mills in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Sherry, if you can meet it, I know you can make it. I know you live in the mountains, but Saturday, is it Saturday or Sunday? 12th, Sunday. This is Sunday. You know what? I need to edit this so that we know it's Sunday. Because I think I keep saying Saturday. Sunday, March 12th. There we go. Sunday. Yeah, you need to work with some people to get a Washington meetup set up for when you arrive in June. Yes. And I think that will be... So Ted's going to be in Washington on June 11th. So June 12th or 13th, there will be a meetup. Which is a Monday or a Tuesday. It's kind of an odd day for a meetup, but... you can make it work. Much love from Montreal, OTW News. Okay, well, Sherry, now you know, right? Oh, yes, we do. I have a lot of herb seeds. Yeah. At the Spartanburg one, yeah. Alrighty. Oh, and of course I need to open my phones.
Welcome to the conference center. You are a host.
Why, thank you. All right. Okay, I'm now attached to the phone line. 848-222-2480 is the call-in number. All right. Also, yes. We all should still meet up at the Asheville Herb Festival to get our herbs ag center end of May. Hey, if there's a yeah, I'm down for that. Hey Mojo Shop. Yeah, let's do that. Also, I really, really want to go to the Bigfoot Festival this year. And let me know if you guys want to go to the Bigfoot Festival. Any of the local flatties are down to go to the Bigfoot Festival. I want to go there. I want to go prepared with lots of flyers and cards and flat smacking paraphernalia. Flat smacking prophylactics. No, prophylactic is a prohibitive, right? Never mind. Hey Dean F, good to see you. Sarah G, good to see you. Yes, good rising. So, I started streaming. Hopefully the people on Facebook or on have found me. I've been streaming to the Flat Earth News and Reports channel instead of my main channel, and then sharing the Flat Earth News and Report stream to my Facebook page. I think people are still finding it. All right. Good to know. Good to know. All right. Bigfoot festivals in Marion. Yes. So I'm saying, and it's huge. A lot of people go to that. A lot of people go to that. Like, I aspire to get flat earth festivals as big as Bigfoot festivals. Because I'm telling you, Bigfoot festivals, they get like 10,000 people at these things. I mean, they're huge. And they get sponsors and stuff. Remember? And, you know, and this is Bigfoot. Remember when Bigfoot used to be so taboo? Like, you were an insane person if you thought Bigfoot was real? Dude, now... You know, and it's taken a while. So, you know, maybe that's sort of like a thing that we can kind of look forward to as flat earthers, because Bigfoot was very, very taboo for a super long time, right? And now it's not really not so taboo anymore. Some people still laugh it off, but the Bigfoot festivals get thousands of attendees. Thousands. Yeah, Sherry, we're going to do it. So, and it took a while, right? Like, it's been decades of work that Bigfoot enthusiasts have been trying to get it in the mainstream, right? And like, now it kind of sort of is, right? It's not so out of the question to have a discussion about Bigfoot like it used to be like 20 years ago. So that kind of gives me hope about flat earth. Like, someday we'll be having these flat earth festivals and there'll be tens of thousands of people showing up instead of just hundreds. That's what's up. Yeah. Hey, Chicago artist. Lemurians are the new Bigfoot? Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's make it bigger than Burning Man. Yeah. It's like the Bigfoot Festival. They have it on Facebook. Let me see if I can find it. (2023) here. I'll show you. 2023 Western North Carolina Bigfoot Festival, Saturday, May 20th. Okay, at Marion in Marion. See, already 1,000 people have responded. Already. 11,000 likes, 11,000 followers. For the host of this event. But let's see. Oh, here's the She Squatchers. I actually talked with those ladies on a stream one time. That's a female group of Sasquatchers. They're really cool. But here, like, here's a picture. Look at how many people are here. So this is 2019, but still, you know, it's like a big open air festival, and there's people, like thousands of people there. Western North Carolina Bigfoot Festival, Bigfoot Educational Expo. And so, you know, they have all these researchers that show up, all sorts of local people, people from BFRO. I'm not a fan of BFRO. Really not a fan, but they'll be there. I mean, you know, it's Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. Is that what they stand for? Bigfoot Field Research Organization. Yeah, BFRO. East Tennessee Bigfoot. Yeah, it's a huge thing over here. It's a huge thing. And so I think this is like an untapped source for us. You know what I'm saying? These two worlds need to come together. Bigfoot and flat Earth, right? It's a marriage made in heaven. Bigfoot brought me to flat Earth, right? So if it can bring me to flat Earth, it can bring more. Yeah, they have it every year. Oh, they're around CSV. Exactly, no despair bear. They are around. See, okay. So let's look at Bigfoot sightings map. This is from 2017, so this is probably going to be an old map. USA and Canada. So, like, look right here. This on the East Coast, this is the Appalachian Mountains, right? And then you've got the Florida skunk ape, where all the sightings are over here, you know, and of course Pacific Northwest, right? This area is like the most sightings. California, right here in the Sierra Nevadas, right here around Tahoe. Right? And then, you know, and it's funny because like all these little dots, these are like the most mountainous areas, but really they are seen everywhere. Everywhere. Let's see, if there's a... It's this one. States with the most Bigfoot sightings. Okay, here's from 2020. Okay, so orange is the most, blue is the least. North Carolina is brown. I don't believe that. There's got to be more than that. But you see how right here, these states that touch the Appalachian Mountains, they've got the higher numbers, right? Oh, look at Texas. Texas is up there. This has got to be inaccurate. Just my opinion. Bigfoot sightings and news. So, southeast. Oh, why is it broken? Bummer. Why is that broken? What's this link go to? Oh, it's been removed for violating Tumblr. Okay. Bigfoot mapping project. Oh, this is cool. I haven't seen this website before. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is cool. It's like an interactive Bigfoot sightings map. Capture the location of your sighting here. Oh, cool. Look at this. Oh, I wonder what the red ones are. Interesting. While turkey hunting on one of my food plots on my hunting lease of acres, I smelled an awful stench of an animal. I walked about in the food plot to try to see the animal. A large rock about the size of a basketball came out of the woods, maybe 20 feet in the air, and landed near me in the food plot. I yelled at the direction the rock came from. I heard an animal crashing through the woods, moving away down into a thick ravine. The smell lingered. I backed out of the area, back to my truck, hair on my neck standing on end. The rock weighed about 30 pounds. I'm 6 foot, 280 pounds. I couldn't throw the rock 10 feet. I still trap and hunt the lease, but always feel something is watching me. Other strange things occasionally occur on the property. Whoa, dude. Now, and I don't know how many people, like, how many of you follow Bigfoot or have been looking into Bigfoot and stuff, but having large rocks thrown at you, that's a common thing. That's like their, hey, what are you doing here? Get out of my woods. Hotspots, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. They're everywhere. That's why, when I saw that map, I was like, it's lacking. It's seriously lacking in information because Bigfoots are everywhere, dude. So here's some. Is this me? No, this is not mine. 2006, 2008 sighting. 79. So here's some sightings that have happened around me where I live. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I grew up in California, in Northern California. I grew up camping in Lake Tahoe woods and going to Tahoe. I never had any Bigfoot encounters. I wanted one so bad. Growing up in California, Northern California, I was so into Bigfoot. I would watch all the Bigfoot shows on TV. I would watch everything I could. I was always fascinated and like obsessed with Bigfoot. And as I got older, living in California, never having one thing or knowing anybody who had one encounter except for two of my friends later in life who were like went camping by themselves, and they said they were smoking tons of weed and they heard something walking in the woods, and it was really sort of like, anecdotal, right? So even though their eyes would get all big when they talked about it, and they'd be like, no, dude, it was something huge, right? And I never had any experiences myself, so I kind of started to get out of it. After a while, I kind of gave up. I was like, well, maybe there's just nothing to it. Maybe they aren't real. Well, so fast forward to when Karen moves to North Carolina, and it was like in 2011, and almost immediately I started having encounters. The stench thing that one thing that I read talked about, I had one of those encounters with the stench. Nothing was thrown at me, but I'm like fairly positive that that's what I was encountering that night in the woods. But, boulder toss, yeah. At least they don't throw poop. You see, they're kind of smart, though. If they threw poop, then you'd have proof that they existed, right? Unless Bjorn Thornson, blah, 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 was hurtling some boulders your way. Yeah. Maybe he was throwing boulders to get him out of there because there was something else that would threaten his life. A lot of stories do include them attempting to help people rather than hurt them. Yes, Mother Dragon, but I also think, like, the role of the forest people, as I like to call them, is like they're almost like caretakers, right, of the forest. And when you have a hunter going into the forest with weapons and with that energy of I'm going to kill something, I think it's my opinion, and this is just what I've gathered over the years of reading encounters of hunters, because hunters have a lot of encounters. Like most of the encounters that you'll read about are like from the southeast are hunters, like people who go out, they're hunting deer, they're hunting turkey, they're in tree stands or whatever. These are the majority of the encounters that you'll hear about from the southeast. So what I think is like they're sort of reading that energy, like, oh, this human's coming in here to kill stuff, right? And I think their immediate response to that is protect, get out. Like, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Um, I could be wrong, but that's just what it seems to be. Because there was even an account I heard of a hunter where they actually took a deer down, and it was a man and his son, and then they were walking over to go harvest the deer, right, to go collect it. And in between them and where the deer was, a Bigfoot stepped in between them and just sort of like looked at them with like, "Bruh," and like both of them were just like frozen in fear, right? And the guy said immediately, he said, without question, the immediate feeling I got was, do not go after that deer. The deer is now belongs to the Bigfoot and we need to go. A lot of cryptid encounters have the beings attacking people, but a lot leave unscathed. Perhaps more species to tend to help steer us away from beings that wish us to do harm by scaring us. It could be, or it could be like their way of like, you know, let's make them get out of here. Like, get out of here. It's cool. It's kind of like when I was like, where I live, live in the woods, right? And I've got a big pit bull dog, right? So there's a lot of feral cats in this area. Now, some of these feral cats, now that Ted's moved here, they've sort of become semi-pet cats and we feed them and stuff. But early on, when it was just me taking care of the dog and the small children, and a cat would come on the property, I would throw shit at it and I'd be like, get out of here. Because I didn't want the cat to get mauled by my dog. You know, so it is sort of like what Mother Dragon is saying. Like they're maybe warning us so that we stay out of trouble, right? So it's like I'm throwing things at those cats, you know, and I might be seeming aggressive, but I'm not doing it to try to hurt them. I'm doing it to get them out of the area because it's just not a good place for them to be. So it's possible. That is totally possible. Yeah. And those who have watched like the ultimate Bigfoot red pill stream that me and Brian did on Unveiling This Realm, you'll know, like, I had so many encounters. I can't even, whenever I talk about it, I always forget, you know, later on I'll be like, oh, I should have talked about this time. Like, so many things have happened now. Like, to me, it's just undeniable. There's just no they exist. They're real. And I don't really care what anybody says about it. So, and I know some other flat earthers have come to me and said that they've had Bigfoot encounters. Yeah. I'm actually... Hi, Artiseer. Yeah, so many folks with Bigfoot cutouts and silhouette features. Yeah. I want to do Bigfoot cutouts in my woods. I was telling Ted, I was like, because there's like the way the driveway is, I'm like, we could put one right here and it would freak everybody out. You know, I think it would be fun. Hello, Alex Javier. Good rising. Yeah. So, anyway, I wonder what these little things mean. Track sign. Okay, so track, the footprint is where they just found tracks. What's this one? Lenoir. Height, 8.5 feet. Sex, male. Vocalization, yes. Wood knocks, yes. Whooping noises, tree knocks. My pit bull is deathly afraid of the woods. Hear a lot of movement. sighting, so I wonder if the little thing is a vocalization, audible. So I'm assuming the red ones are like yeah, these are like the class A or closest to class A. Outside with the grandkids, I just happened to feel something was watching. I looked to the wood line. About 100 yards away, a huge dark creature was standing there. I said, "What the F is that?" It must have somehow knew I saw it. It turned and very, very quickly disappeared into the thicker brush. Just last week, now January of 2022, my outdoor security camera caught growls. Wow. So this is not far from where I live. Telling you, man, they're all over the place. I was woken up around 2:30 a.m. to hear 5 loud howling sounds just outside the cabin we were staying in. These did not sound like any typical animal, wolf, coyote, or elk that I would expect to hear in the NC Mountains. Okay, well, there's no elk. I don't think there's any elk in the Carolina Mountains. There's just deer. My wife did not hear this once she was in another room with the fan. Since she was in another room with the fan, I had fallen asleep on the couch. The next morning, she played some Bigfoot vocalizations she found online, and the howling sounded almost identical to what I heard. We both searched for tracks in the dirt and the road, but we didn't find any. I'm 14, so you may not pay attention to this, but I'll just report it anyways. This is probably not a real sighting, but my 5-year-old bro walked into the woods for a minute while we were playing in the yard, and we heard him scream. He is incredibly smart for his age, and his eyesight is perfect. We had never told him about Bigfoot, but when we asked him how he looked, he described him perfectly down to the color of his hair. He said he was about 10 yards away. Loggers had just cut down a few trees in our woods on the property near us. He may have seen a bear or a panther, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Can you please share the link for what site you were showing? Okay, yes. I'll just post a link to what I'm looking at right now. So there you guys go. If you guys want to go on there and like take a look at sightings near where you live, that might be cool. It might be a cool thing to do. Is Chewbacca based off Bigfoot? I think so. I actually do think that Chewbacca is based off Bigfoot. I've heard BF, north end of a deserted island at night. Wasn't human, not quite animal. Yeah. Cutouts, LOL, yeah. Still gotta finish your Freaky Friday show. Yeah, so look at that. Look at Michigan too. Michigan, tons of sightings. East Texas, so you can see like all the sightings are over here in like the green, the more the side of Texas that has more woods. I like these red ones. They have the stories. Except for this one. Let's see. No. While looking for a new fishing spot, I discovered what looked like a huge nest made of sticks and branches. It was about 5 feet tall with a footprint of about 8 to 10 feet. At the time, I had a Nokia phone with a 2-megapixel picture quality. The picture I took went away with the phone as I upgraded throughout the years. I have been back to the location, but the nest has since disappeared. I have scouted the area and have found 4-inch diameter branches twisted in unnatural ways. The terrain here in Texas Hill Country is dry and rocky, so it's hard to come across tracks, but if you know what to look for, you'll be surprised what you find. Wow. I came out my house and saw this huge bipedal animal. I thought it was a bear, but it stood up on 2 feet and began moving through the field. Time of sighting 2/15/2/22. Oh, so that's like a year ago. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can go, oh look, what is this? I wonder what these are over here. I was driving down the secondary road near Mahanico when I saw a huge figure covered with dark blonde fur walking towards some abandoned building nearby. I was in a rush, so I didn't go back, and to be honest, I was kind of scared to do so. The creature didn't appear to be frightened, so I don't think he was hiding, but going back to this place, it was a weird encounter in the early hours, but I have never driven alone on Mahanico since that encounter. Crazy. White fur with dark brown face. I was taking a walk at night with my partner along the side shore and we went to the end of the beach where the sea meets the rocks. We didn't want to get too close because it was dark and it was probably slippery, so we stayed on the promenade for a while. After some time had passed, we decided to come home. We probably walked like 20 meters when I turned around and noticed a white figure behind some of the rocks. They were covering themselves with the rock when we were closer. We thought it was probably someone with a towel covering themselves, but now that I think of it, it didn't look like it. We kept walking, but we turned around again and we saw the white figure, completely covered in white now, stood up over the rock, and it was a rock taller than me, and looked around. We were scared, so we went home quickly after that and joked about it, how it looked like Bigfoot, so I wanted to share that experience here. That's weird. This is like some crazy island off of Africa. Typically, you don't see sightings on islands. That's really weird. March 20th, 2021, a day I will never forget as long as I live. On that fateful evening, I decided to do some urban exploring at the local abandoned orphanage. It was still daytime, so I didn't think much of it. As I ventured inside, the encounter that would receive me once I started climbing the tower would, however, change my life forever. Everything appeared to be normal except for some kind of weird figure that kept appearing in the drawings on the wall. As an advanced speaker of Sinhalese, I thought it was just the character, whatever that is, that what developed after makes me think I was foolishly mistaken. As I climbed the main tower, a horrifying screech began to be heard all across the building. I was scared for my life, due to it coming from what I thought at the time was below me. I kept climbing until I reached the roof. The disturbing realization that there was nowhere to hide once I ran out of stairs crept through my whole body as I saw the city and free fall to the ground ahead of me. Continues. I turned around, not hearing anything, and decided to descend through the stairs as quietly as I was capable of. As I was doing so, I heard once again the unsettling screech. This time it was followed by some loud running noises, and I let out a scream. Lucky for me, I was able to saw a relatively small black figure run outside the building and into a zone where vegetation was bigger and denser, only to disappear, never be seen again. I quickly finished my exploration and ran outside the building and into the busy streets of Las Palmas, knowing that my view of the city and perhaps the world had changed forever. I can only thank the universe I am able to tell the story today, and I wasn't harmed in any way during this encounter. God knows what could have happened had it been a more violent creature. What was that monster? Was it trying to scare me? Did it want something else? Did I scare it? Were the drawings some kind of omen I foolishly ignored? Only the creature itself knows. I also saw a cool bird before going in, so there's that. Oh, it even has pictures. That's a ringneck parrot. That's really weird. All these pictures and no pictures of the creature? I feel let down. I feel let down. I feel like that's a joke. I don't know. Had another experience with 3 other people. We had rocks being thrown into our campsite and could hear big boulders being thrown into the river. This lasted for about 2 hours. Dude, that's crazy. What's up? I wonder if Oklahoma has any sightings. Yes! Oklahoma does have sightings. Watch. Look at right here. Oklahoma. I was about 4 or 5 years old in a peach orchard. My family were picking peaches, and I, as any kid would do, was running around on my own. I turned the corner on a row of peaches, and there it was, about two trees away, and as tall as the trees themselves. Not much to say. I could see collarbones, and it had a distended belly with patches of skin visible through the hair. Arms were about to the knees, but what I can't get out of my head was its smile. It was smiling at me, more precise, leering at me. I didn't feel threatened. Indeed, I left, and then after my mother blew me off, I came back, but it was gone. But it was a far cry from these gentle giants you hear about on TV. It was nothing other than a mean apex predator, and you could tell just by the look in his eyes that if he'd wanted to, he'd have no compunction ripping your arms off. Well, this guy's talking about when he was 4 or 5 years old. He would have been scared shitless just at the sight of this thing. See, this is what gets me. Like, a lot of these people will do these encounters and they're like, this thing, it would have killed me. It wanted to kill me. No, that's your fear talking. That's because you're so afraid of the unknown and you've never seen anything like that. And through like horror movies and just programming in general, you've been programmed to be afraid of things that look like that, and probably rightfully so. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't be afraid, but it should be, you know, but it shouldn't be like a irrational fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I think they do all these things to make Bigfoots out to be big, scary monsters, right? I mean, think about it. If there's this many sightings, look at how many sightings there are in the U.S. If there's this many sightings of Bigfoots, you'd think that if they really were violent and wanted to kill people, that you would hear about that sort of encounter a lot more. Now, I won't say that it doesn't happen, but I don't think that like all Bigfoots hate humans and want to go after people. Like, I don't think that's true, because all the encounters that I've ever had, I've never been scared. I've never been threatened. I never was like even charged. I never had any rocks thrown at me. Like, I've never had the rock throwing thing. That's never happened to me. I've seen the tree shaking. I've heard vocalizations and talking. I've found footprints, but I've never had anything thrown at me. And I think it's like, you know, for the most part, you know, if they're a living sentient being in this realm with free will, then they're probably not unlike humans in that they're probably mostly good, but there's going to be some bad ones too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be reasonable. They're probably not unlike humans in that there's mostly good Bigfoots, and then every once in a while there's probably one that's an asshole. Is a Bigfoot considered a giant? What about the old Norwegian giant troll stories and reports still today? Well, I guess they could be considered giant compared to us. Is a Bigfoot like a giant in the term that we're thinking of it? I don't know. I think they're a completely different species. They're not humans. So if they're not humans, then they're not giant humans. They're just Bigfoots who happen to be physically larger than humans in general. Does that make them a giant? It makes them giant compared to us, I guess. Come on, guys. If Bigfoot was real, obviously the government would tell us. Any blue dot Bigfoots. The two encounters I had weren't terrifying or anything. The one I seen that set in the river never seen me. I was a little nervous because I have to return back to the camp. They can see who is good and who is bad. They can probably see in a different spectrum and can show benevolence or malevolence. Well, here's the thing. Like, just like how we have a heart field, right? You have your heart field and it's emanating your electromagnetic field around your whole body. And this field, I'm sure we've discussed this, right? Is like how you upload and download information from the ether. Any sort of intuitive information, unspoken information, feelings, thoughts, precognitive thoughts, precognitive dreams, or anything like that is uploaded and downloaded into your consciousness through your heart field from the ether. This is my theory. I can't prove it, but it makes sense to me and to some other people, right? I didn't make that up myself. This is just, my way of explaining it. So if we have that, then they have that, right? They have that too. Everything has an electromagnetic field. Now, if Bigfoots are what, I think they are, which is another totally different species, sentient, high consciousness being that lives alongside here in the realm with us, then, and because they are unencumbered, right? Like, we don't see Bigfoots going to their 9-to-5 job every day. We don't see Bigfoots, standing in line at the DMV for their driver's license, right? They obviously are, and this is why I feel like they are more advanced than us, actually. They are more advanced. There's a lot of people who have, there's the whole cloaking thing, for one thing. They can make themselves visible and invisible. And I know that sounds crazy, but there are so many people who have seen it happen. I've seen it happen. It's happened here, and they vocalize, they make these weird vocalizations, infrasound. They, a lot of people have reported mind speak, telepathy, like their thoughts, like if you're like Les Stroud, the guy who does Survivor Man. You guys are familiar with Les Stroud, the Survivor Man? He was talking about this. I listened to an interview with him where he was out on one of his loner, Survivor Man campouts out by himself in the wilderness. And he had been having a lot of, encounters with creatures out in the woods where he never actually saw anything, but weird stuff was happening, right? To the point where he was like, okay, something's going on. Because, talk about a guy who has spent more time alone in the wilderness, probably than any other person alive that anybody in our civilization, within our earshot is going to know about, right? Like, other than like, pure wild people who live in like other continents or whatever. But as far as like being alone in the American wilderness, the most amount of time, I would say probably Les Stroud is way up there on that, right? And so he started having all kinds of encounters and weird things happening to the point where he even couldn't deny it anymore. Because I remember early on when I was watching Les Stroud stuff, and he would say, no, I don't know anything. Nothing. He would not talk about Bigfoot very early on. And then as time went on, things started happening. And now he talks about it a lot, to the point where he even had a Bigfoot series where he talked about it specifically and went out specifically to try to get encounters. But I remember listening to an interview with him where he was talking about how he was on one of his trips and he was out there by himself, and he was like looking for Bigfoot, doing that sort of thing. And he got a message from them in his head, like the mind speak thing where they were like, are you ready to meet us? Because we're just over here on the other side of this ridge. If you come over here, you can meet us. And he was like, I'm not ready for that. And it freaked him out and he didn't go. And I totally get that, because sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I'll be in my woods and I'll be like, just show me. I know you're here. Just show yourself. And then I think I second guess it and I'm like, wait, do I really want to see that? Like, even me, someone who's into it, do I really want to have that thing standing in front of me? I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to prepare yourself for something like that. You're basically being confronted with something that your whole life you were told it was non-existent in a fantasy, and there it is in real life in front of you. I would freak out. As into it as I am. Big feet. My native friends have no problem understanding the existence of Bigfoots. Yeah, exactly. Could Bigfoot be evolved human living at one with nature to potential? Well, do you guys believe that we evolve? My answer to that would be I don't think so. Because if they're evolved humans, then it's like the same question as if humans came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? If Bigfoot's evolved from humans, then why are there still humans? I mean, I don't know. But my gut answer to that would be no. They're a different species. They're different. I mean, you know, like how we talk about how some of the like some of the old maps have descriptions of the islands and descriptions of different like types of people living there. Well, that's kind of like what I think the Sasquatch are. They're just a different type of people, but they're more advanced. In other words, they know how this realm works and they are fully equipped to manipulate themselves or the physics of this realm in ways that we can't. Like they know something we don't. And this is why I think that this is a huge reason why I think that Bigfoots have been made to be so scary, because I think they know something we don't, right? They know something about how this realm works that we don't, right? Because of the things that they're able to do, right? And if anybody who's followed these, like the paranormal part of the Bigfoot world, and a lot of it is paranormal, then, and like, you know, it's kind of like undeniable. At least that's how I see it. Nephilim who have adapted. I mean, possibly. You are ready, Karen? I asked them to present themselves and they did in a dream at my childhood home, and I shot it in the head and a beam of light appeared from the hole. It just looked at me with a sad face and I woke. Oh, I remember, Zach, you telling me about that. Yeah. Nephilim who have adapted. Well, okay, they could be, but I don't know. I wouldn't know for sure. And you know what though? I mean, maybe I kind of am on the fence with that. If whether the Bigfoot or Nephilim or not. I mean, it could be. I mean, who knows? And then also, aren't the Nephilim referred to as watchers? As like the watchers? Because I almost feel like the Bigfoot are watchers. You know what I'm saying? I failed the test. Well, not really, Zach, because now, but don't you think you learned something from that? It's almost like they learned something from that. Like, you don't have to be afraid, right? Because remember me telling you that, like, no human can kill a Bigfoot? I still believe that. Like, I don't believe a human can kill a Bigfoot. Not without some, like, crazy military-grade weaponry. I'll just say that. It would have to be, like, something crazy military. And I do remember, I read, you know, a lot of stories, and these are just stories. I can't prove, you know, the validity of any of it, obviously. But I remember reading a very in-depth story about there being a military operation where it was just like a helicopter, like a Navy SEAL military operation in the in the American wilderness where they were chasing a Bigfoots, like a clan of Bigfoots, to try to take them out. I don't know if that's true or not, but like the whole description of it, everything was very detailed. But I don't know, but it makes sense, right? So if these things do exist and they know more than we do, and they know things about this realm that we don't know, okay, and they're benevolent for the most part, it would behoove the powers that should not be to make all of the humans think that these Bigfoots are big scary monsters that need to be hunted and killed for reward, right? They want everybody afraid of them, because if and fear is such a powerful tool of manipulation and control, right? So if nobody was afraid, if there was no like pre-programming of being afraid of Bigfoots and they're a big monster and they're gonna rip your arms off and blah 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 blah, and more people were willing to go into the woods and sort of initiate contact or communicate, what do you think could be learned from a species with abilities like that? You know what I'm saying? Like it to me, they don't want us knowing about these things. They don't want us interacting with them. They don't want us bridging that gap of communication, because I feel like if it ever were to be done, the things that could be taught to humans by these things, which now is making me feel like maybe they possibly are Nephilim, because isn't that the whole thing in the Bible where like the Nephilim teach the human stuff, right? But what if, you know, they could teach us stuff that could help us, you know, get our sovereignty back as co-creators and divine beings in this realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think. I remember when Bigfoot tried kicking my football and I moved it at the last minute. Black Ops Helicopter Squad. Yeah. The sightings look like the cave map of the US. Huh. I haven't... Yeah. Oh, I have callers. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hello, Karen.
Hi.
Rough here.
How's it going?
How are you today?
Great.
Oh, it's excellent. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, you're talking about Bigfoot, one of my favorite subjects. So I figured I'd have to call in here.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I live, you know, right outside of where Mount St. Helens is here, you know, in Portland, Oregon. And it's one of the biggest, you know, areas for Bigfoot sightings every year.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least, you know, they've had a great number of them there. And, you know, they have a big Bigfoot festival here up on Mount Hood every year, which I've taken my kids to before, and it's really cool because like they incorporate a lot of like Native American folklore, you know, their traditional stories about Bigfoot, you know, in with, you know, a lot of the other history, and there's all kinds of Bigfoot art, and that's just a really fun event. And then also on the way up to Mount Hood, there's also the International Bigfoot Museum, which we've stopped in, and I did a video on that place before because it's really cool. It's made by one of the guys who did the show Finding Bigfoot, and so they've got, you know, the footprints there, and, you know, a lot of photographs, and, you know, just a lot of stories of encounters and whatnot. And but yeah, it's really, really cool to check out. And yeah, it's a fascinating topic. I love Bigfoot and the whole mystery behind it. You know, it's like, you know, we all have our theories on what they are, and you know, and we definitely feel like spirituality from, you know, takes it to a higher level of consciousness with them, you know, because like, you know, it takes someone to think outside of the box to believe in Bigfoot. That's why it's, very similar to like the flat Earth and other concepts that it takes a higher vibration person to be able to even fathom some of these ideas or topics, because you have to step outside of the box that they want to keep us in order to even ponder these ideas.
Right.
And so yeah, my theory behind Bigfoot is that I think that they're like you say, they could be the Nephilim or these higher dimensional beings that they come here, and it's almost like it's like they put on this Bigfoot suit when they step into our dimension, and they come in to observe or just to interact or whatever. And I've always had this concept, you mentioned like growing up in Northern California, and they've got the redwoods there and all these massive trees. Well, I've always envisioned that these trees, some of them, if not all of them, there's a portal that can open up in the tree, and these Sasquatch can just walk right into the tree and just dip out at any time that they want. And that's why, like I envision, that they are impossible to kill here and catch. But there is the story of when Mount St. Helens erupted, that there's eyewitness reports of these helicopters landing from people who worked with the Forest Service there. These helicopters would land, and the Bigfoot there were actually working with the Forest Service to bring out their loved ones, their ancestors or their family, the other Bigfoot family or whatever that was living there. And they would load up these Bigfoot carcasses and took them away on these helicopters. And so that's pretty fascinating story.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
But yeah, that's about all I had, and other than that, I feel like this topic of Bigfoot ties in, to what I was talking about before, when I called in a couple weeks ago about the Lemurians and Mount Shasta, and, just these higher vibrational beings that operate on a higher density than we do, and therefore, the rules of our dimension don't apply to them, because like they have ways to bend time and space and to step through, like they may be in your neck of the woods 1 second, and then they can step in a portal and be over here in my neck of the woods pretty instantaneously, because that's how their dimensional properties work, as opposed to what we deal with here in this plane. And so it's all fun stuff to divulge into. And if you do get to go to a Bigfoot festival, I think it would be a great place to share other truths like the flat Earth and whatever else, because people, at least they have more of an open mind there than they would at other events.
Yeah. I mean, that's my hope. That's my hope. Although, being someone who came from being super into Bigfoot and then being super into flat Earth, I learned pretty quickly that the two are not necessarily they're not. People don't, like, people in flat Earth think Bigfoot's stupid, and people who are into Bigfoot think flat Earth is stupid, which is hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's starting to get better.
Funny too, yeah, I think it's funny, how people will crawl out of one box and then they'll just crawl right back into another box, and they won't realize that they just went from one box into another box, and it's like, to really have an open mind, you have to look at the absurd in a different light, because it's not that absurd if you just like have more of an open mind. And that's what I encourage people to do. It doesn't hurt you in any way to like ponder the possibilities of the what if, you know.
Yes.
And it actually makes life more fun that way too. You know, it's more fun and exciting if it all just doesn't have to just make some type of sense in a scientific way, or, you know, in a, you know, a astrological way or whatever. You know, it really, if you can think outside the box and be like, well, you know, what if these rules don't apply? Then, you know, like, it opens up the possibilities, and I think it eventually will allow us to use more of our brain capacity and to, you know, be able to have these abilities that we don't currently have, you know, like levitation, or, you know, even be able to step through portals ourselves, you know, because that might be what it's going to require to get out of here one day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Other than that, I took my daughter to see Stephen Marley last night. Bob Marley's one of his sons, which he just had his son, Joe Mercer Marley, died suddenly back at the end of December, and he was a big reggae artist as well. And so it was really, you know, a powerful statement for Stephen Marley to, you know, to be able to proceed with this tour that he had planned and go on, even though he just lost his son. And, you know, there's got to be a lot of pain and grief going on right now with him and his family. I mean, I feel it, you know, and you know, I'm just someone from the outside looking in, and, you know, you could see the, you know, the loss in his eyes and the hurt, but it's like for him to go on stage and to heal people with love and music, it was just so beautiful and so powerful. And my daughter and I, we had bought tickets to go see him 5 hours south of here, down in Ashland, Oregon. And we drove about 3 hours out of the 5-hour trip on Friday to go down there. And then we got an email saying that the show was canceled or rescheduled due to bad weather. And so we turned around and came back, and it was a bummer. But, you know, luckily he was coming up here to Portland the day after anyway. And so just on a whim, you know, I decided we're going to go down there. It was a sold out show, but I was like, we're going to go down there and try to, you know, get in anyway, you know, because I had made a custom Rastafari Rockstone pillow for him to give him at the show. And, you know, I really wanted my daughter to go see the show as well. And so we went down there, and I went up and to the ticket booth, you know, and you know, explained what had happened with our tickets getting rescheduled and being 5 hours away. And the ticket guy, he went and got the manager of the establishment, which is the Aladdin Theater, and she came out, and I explained to her what happened, and she just let us into the show for free, because, you know, she had compassion and understanding for, you know, our efforts that we put forth to go to the show down in Ashland. And, you know, I thought it was so awesome. You know, it was such a great lesson to be able to teach my daughter, you know, that you should always have a positive mindset, and that you shouldn't ever just like count anyone or anything out. And it doesn't hurt to just ask sometimes, you know, like the only good question or the only bad question is the one that doesn't get asked, you know, and you'll never find out unless you ask and try and figure it out. And so, you know, it was a beautiful night, beautiful show. I'm feeling positive love and vibrations just from, you know, being in the same room with, you know, like royalty, because like as a Rastafarian, you know, I believe the whole Marley family is royalty and prophets of the Most High Jah. And yeah, so I just wanted to give you a call and send my love out to you and Ted and Brian and everyone else in the chat. I hope you'll have a phenomenal day. And yeah, much love.
All right. Thanks, Rasta Bear. Cheers. Much love.
Yeah, cheers. Love.
All right. Thanks for calling. You're on with Coffee Talk. I mean, you're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen.
Coffee Talk. Hey, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I've got a Bigfoot story for you.
Oh, awesome. Let's hear it.
Okay, this comes from the year 1900. It's a really old one, but yeah, it goes like this. As I was riding along the road on my mule, I suddenly noticed a very strange personage walking beside me. His head was about even with my shoulders as I sat in my saddle. He wore no clothing, but was covered with hair. His skin was very dark. I asked him where he dwelt, and he replied that he had no home, that he was a wanderer in the earth and traveled to and fro. He said he was a very miserable creature, that he had earnestly sought death during his sojourn upon the earth, but that he could not die. And his mission was to destroy the souls of men. About the time he expressed himself thus, I rebuked him in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ by virtue of the holy priesthood, and commanded him to go hence. And immediately he departed out of my sight. And that's from David W. Patton. I thought that was really interesting. I don't think all like Bigfoot entities are like evil, but I don't know. I've never heard of anyone talking to one or having a conversation with, except for this, and I've heard that one for a while now. And so it's kind of an interesting one.
Actually, I've heard of a lot of people having conversations with them.
Really?
I mean, not a lot, but it does happen. There's quite a few instances, and there's people that say they talk to them regularly.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't talk about it a lot, but oh, by the way, let me just say thank you to Marty for the super chat. He gave me a super chat for 1111. It says, "No matter what your thoughts are on it, how can anyone dislike a good Bigfoot convo?" So thank you for that, Marty. But yeah, there's actually a man named Kiwani Lapsaritis. And he wrote a book called The Psychic Sasquatch. And I have some of his videos saved and stuff. But anyway, he talked to Bigfoots a lot. And like he even had, him and his wife had they would do streams where they would they had whole sheets written, like they'd be writing it out like as they were having these encounters and stuff. And then they would read it to people. It was actually pretty trippy.
It sounds more and more like a spiritual entity of some sort.
Yeah, well, like I said, like even Les Stroud, like the way he was contacted by them was through mind speak, like telepathic communication, right?
Yeah, I would think that's kind of how a spirit would be able to communicate, maybe.
Yeah, and I even wonder if that's not how like the guy in your story communicated with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. A lot of them, it's not like they walk out and just start talking to you, because and especially because any of the vocalizations that I've heard, they're not speaking any sort of like audible English language that is like that I recognize. Like it sounded very native. It like whenever you hear Native Americans speaking in their native tongue, like how it's very like short and there's not a lot of vowels and it's like like it sounded like that.
Yeah.
It sounded very tribal. So I don't know.
Yeah, another question I think about a lot is if there's any kind of connection between them and skinwalkers. I don't know if you've heard of those.
Yeah, I've heard of skinwalkers. I don't think they're the same, but I don't know.
Okay, I could hope not, because I've had some freaky encounters with those. Ooh, yeah, I nearly rolled my car one time, full on, because I saw a Native American sitting in the backseat of my car as I was just riding home from work right in the middle of the morning, and broad daylight, and yeah, it was freaky.
Well, that's crazy, Kyle. When did that happen?
I was just 18 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I was working at a place out next to the Arizona Strip out here, and yeah, it was crazy stuff. There's a guy who was telling me a story about how there's some Native American ruins not too far from there, and like way back in the day, they didn't like the pioneers coming in and being so close to them, and so they started dealing with some kind of weird witchcrafty stuff, and yeah, crazy things happened after that, and about watching these people kind of like turn into animals and yeah, attack people. It was really crazy. And I didn't think anything about it, broad daylight. I'm safe in the daytime. And nope, no. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And like immediately afterwards, like as a dust, I lost full control of my car. Like my car is spinning to the left and to the right, and all of a sudden it hits like a dirt bank because I'm going on this dirt road out in the Arizona Strip there, and as soon as the dust starts to fall, I get out of my car to check out what's going on. Both of the tires on the front of my car were completely off the rim. Okay, they're off the rim. I was
Wow.
like, what? I wasn't like terrified or scared or anything like that. It felt like I was like in a roller coaster or something like that as it was happening. It was just kind of what's going to happen. But yeah, I kind of felt safe the whole time. And then immediately after that, all of a sudden I see a dirt cloud coming my way as a car is coming my way. And a guy from my church, he's, hey, I'm just happened to have a plumbing job over there at your work and just happened to be heading your way. Do you need some help? I was like, I would love some help. Thank you. And so he gives me a ride on home, and yeah, it was wild.
That is wild. Wow.
So yeah, it was kind of, it was kind of a evil spirit there. And then immediately afterwards, all of a sudden, here comes my angel. So, yeah.
That's really cool, though. Interesting story, Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some wild stuff that happens out there. Yeah.
For sure.
But just had to share because, yeah, I kind of wonder about that. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that it would be the same. But of course, I don't know.
Yeah. You just gotta watch out for stuff like that. You never know, and I should think like anytime I've been kind of in the presence of an evil spirit, they let you know that they're evil, and
You can feel it. I feel like you can feel it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You definitely can, and yeah, and so that's like, that's just kind of where you just start praying and calling upon God to come and rescue you, and yeah, He'll send His angels, and so it's amazing stuff. I had a dream. I guess it wasn't like it was like a few months ago, really, where like my wife was gone, the kids left, and it was just me in the middle of the day, just taking a nap there. And as I was sleeping, like in my dream, dark entity came and got hold of me and was forcing me to walk outside, and like I had no control of it. And it was my body was moving. It was asleep, and so this is all in my dream, where I just had no control of it, and I'm just trying to get control of my body back in my dream. And so I just did my very best to sing and just say, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. And as I like struggled to say that, all of a sudden, like I was finally able to get that out. I am a child of God. And when I did that, it let go, and I had full control again. And so the moment I woke up, I was just like, wow, that was really powerful. And so I just sang out loud, totally, because I was just in the house by myself there, and just, I am a child of God, and so my needs are great. And yeah, really powerful experience. And as I sang that out and just said a prayer, just saying thank you, just the spirit was really there. It was like I could feel it, just the love of God right there, really strong. And yeah, it was a good testimony builder for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, cool. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling,
Thanks,
Kyle.
good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me share.
Yes, absolutely. That's crazy, right? I would probably wreck my car if I saw some weird Native American dude sitting back there randomly, like just out of nowhere. That's scary man. And Annie D, thank you for the super chat. The sassy squatchers strike again. Thank you. You feel and you're fearing you were never here. I walk in skin. Skinwalker, I think, is another name for shapeshifter. Hi, Corey. Which I think that's what Skinwalker is. It's like shapeshifter, right? It's like somebody who can turn into something else or change form or something like that. So I saw this little icon here on this map. It's right here, on top of Mount Rainier National Park here. So it says Spiro, Sasquatch Phenomenon and Encounter Research Organization. August of 2022, vocalizations yes. After investigating the entire mountain for several hours, we found evidence that would suggest there was a troop residing in the area. At approximately 11:20 p.m., we drove back to our initial research location as a final stop before returning home. That was when we heard screaming and decided to stop the vehicle and start recording. We were unable to determine the exact distance they were from us, but our best guess is anywhere from 1/4 to 2 miles away. There seemed to have been 4, each vocalizing on top of each other simultaneously. Oh.
Okay, that's not really work. Shh.
Turn around over here. Please turn around.
No, hold on.
I'm scared. Is that someone being killed?
It's hard to hear.
I'm really scared.
Oh. Hard to hear. But let's see. Have you guys heard the sounds at the cave system? You're right. But the caves, could just coincide with the mountain map. But it's interesting, right? So, one of the most famous instances of Bigfoot vocalization is called the Sierra Sounds. Oh, I wonder if they'll play it.
We're in for Nightville.
You're trying to talk to this.
Lucy's trying to call back to him.
All sorts for you?
Some of these recordings are hard to listen to. I apologize. "11:11." See, what I heard didn't sound like that, though. The sounds I heard did not sound like that. Those sounds are like weird sounding. Like what I heard sounded like it sounded like some dude like with the deepest deep, like imagine the deepest voice you've ever heard, right? The deepest voice, the deepest man voice you've ever heard, and then just talking like I said, like in a native sound, like that's what I heard, and it sounded like it was just inside the woodline of my woods. Like, you can tell the difference between when somebody's far away and they're yelling. You hear like you can tell the difference between that and when somebody is close and talking quietly, and you can hear them. It's weird. Could you shout out Peter Jarvio? He will be at the University of Missouri from Monday until Thursday. Everyone in the area interested, hang out with him. You are welcome. Yes. Do that again? Just rewind it. Every time I try to imitate Bigfoot, I know I sound ridiculous because I can't do those sounds. They're sounds that are not possible to be made by me. So any sort of imitation of it is going to be it's going to sound ridiculous. Barry White style. Yeah. So, there you go. Peter Jarvio at University of Missouri, Monday to Thursday. Anybody within driving distance of Missouri University, and you want to go flat smack with Peter Jarvio, go do it. It wants me to sign up to email to get the Army document where they Army whatchamacallit, says that they acknowledge the existence of Bigfoot. So, I haven't searched the CIA reading room for Bigfoot. You guys want to look at some CIA reading room? Few are laughing at this farce. This is from the CIA Freedom of Information Act website, where you can sanitize copy approved for release. Washington. Well, this is a news article. USA Today columnist from 1984. Spies just aren't what they used to be. The first FBI agent in history charged as a turncoat turns out to be a perpetually broke, overweight, would-be avocado farmer 4 months behind on the mortgage, previously suspended for selling household products from the trunk of his car and the butt of office jokes. What? Okay, this is not about Bigfoot. Why would that come up? Let's see. Little Bigfoot. No more underground press. Bigfoot. What's this? An experimental evaluation of the belief in PSI. What is PSI? Belief in PSI has been a topic of investigation over recent years, especially by skeptics of parapsychology. The results achieved, however, have been inconclusive, and many of the studies may have been biased. This study was therefore an attempt to investigate belief in PSI, taking into account of these biases. What is PSI? Parapsychological something? Subjects involved in the study were second-year psychology undergraduates, blah, blah, blah. There's not going to be any reading room shit on Bigfoot. How about never even thought to search this for that, but I doubt there'll be anything. Sasquatch. Nothing about Sasquatch. But Bigfoot brings stuff up. But I don't think any of it is Bigfoot. Meh. Dead end. Wah wah. What's going on? Like tribes in Africa who speak in tones and clucks. Yes. Actually, yes, just like that, Charles B. That's what it sounded like to me both times that I've heard him talking. Because it happened twice. It's a very primal sounding language. Every day Hung has a natal birth chart, so big feats has good stars and bad. What other names do they have? Oh, dude, here. Types of Bigfoot. Yeti, skunk ape, orang pendek, yowie, yeti, Sasquatch. Those are the names. Yowie is what they call it in Australia. Bipedal hominid reported to live in the wilds of Australia. Oral reports of the creatures date back to the late 1700s by Aboriginal natives. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, European witnesses also reported encounters, originally known as yahoos. Yowies maintain an aggressive reputation, known for menacing national park campsites, stalking livestock on outback farms. They are most often witnessed alone or with one other creature, regardless of the time of day. They are known for emitting terrible odors, commonly compared to the stench of a rotting animal. See, that's like when that one encounter I read to you where the guy smelled a stench, and that was actually my first encounter, was smelling that smell, and it was crazy because I took my dog out for a walk. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and it didn't smell like that at first, right? And then once we got close, like, because on the edge of the yard is like a patch of woods, and so when I got close to the edge of the patch of woods, the dog like froze and wouldn't go any closer to the woods when normally she would just go around to the tree line and just do her business and be done. But that particular night, she wanted to get nowhere near that wood line. And then right when I was sitting there and I was pulling on her and I was like, what are you doing? Like, let's go. Get done with your business so we can go back inside, right? Well, right at that moment, the whole air, it was like a switch, you know, it's like a switch was flipped. The whole outside was filled with this nasty, dirty, foul smell. Like imagine, like, this is how I describe it. You know when you got like a really, really dirty, like, stray dog and then the dog gets wet and you're like, ugh. It was like that, but like times 100 because it filled all of the outside air. It was like, it was crazy. And like suddenly, it wasn't like, where's that smell coming from? And then it got stronger. It was like no smell and then bad smell. That's how it went. And so, and I was like, what the hell is that smell? And then as soon as I said that, in the wood, inside the wood line, I heard 2 large footsteps. It was like crunch, crunch. And you could tell that it was something heavy making those steps. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, I could just tell that it was something big. And then it stank. And then the dog was freaked out. And then after I heard those steps and the smell and the dog, and then I myself started to get freaked out. I was like, oh, this is not normal. This is weird. And I'm going to go back in the house. And so then I go in the house and I tell my husband at the time, I'm like, there is something outside in those woods. The dog won't go near it. It freaking stinks. Da 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 da. And he's like, well, maybe it was, you know, and he just brushed it off. He's like, it's probably just a buck or something. No, dude. Because when you come across a buck, most of you will know this, if you come across a deer in the woods, they split. They leave. They start running immediately. They don't just hang out and take big footsteps. And you know what I'm saying? They leave. So anyway, that was my very first encounter. And then from there, it just increased and got worse and worse. So hi, I joined your channel from the weekly thing with Mark Sargent. Hi, well, thank you. Cheers for being here. Thank you for being here. Just like different races of humans, different races of Bigfoot. Kind of. And you know what's funny is like a lot of people from what over the years, you know, I've just read that the Bigfoot in Australia is much more aggressive than the Bigfoots that we come across here in the United States. Like overall, they seem to be more aggressive in Australia. I don't know why. There's not really any rhyme or reason for it, but they just seem to, like the encounters and everything with the Yowies seems to be way more intimidating and aggressive than most of the Bigfoot sightings. So there's that. Then skunk ape is the name for my area, southeastern United States. Skunk ape because of the stench that is associated, like what I just described. They got that name because of the smell that people would smell whenever it was around. The Falk monster. They made a movie about that. Boggy Creek, The Legend of Boggy Creek. That was a Bigfoot movie about a skunk ape. Encounters suggest that it is the most aggressive version of North America's Bigfoot. Many stories account for its short temper and willingness to engage humans. I don't know. So they're saying the skunk ape is more aggressive, but who knows? This is a picture that gets passed around as someone to being a skunk ape, but this looks like an orangutan to me, but I don't know. foot right there. Supposedly. Meh. Let's go. Ew. Looks big. Right there. And you know, my first thought is to say this is fake. But who's gonna put on a big monkey suit like that and then go walking around in the swamp? Although, it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Let's go.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good video, I gotta say. I don't know. That's a little freaky. If I saw that in the swamp, I'd leave too.
Let's go.
Deer sound like freight train running through the forest, yeah. Australia is described as a prison colony. Makes you wonder if it is where the more aggressive types of other beings were put, as opposed to just people at one point. I don't know. Maybe their Squatch are lacking the southern hospitality. That is just Danny DeVito. An enormous bear getting ready to go fishing? I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't help he keeps swaying the camera about. Well, here's the thing. Whenever you're out and these things happen, like, I don't have any video of one. Do you know how hard it is to, like, on the fly suddenly start filming something and have it be all steady and blah? Like, it's not easy to record these things, especially if you're nervous and you're, like, scared and you don't know what's happening. And you don't know if you're in danger or not. A lot of these videos look like that because of that. I mean, it's not as easy to get good video on the fly as people think it is, right? It's just not. I do it without a monkey suit, would keep the skeeters off. I know, people do love attention, but also I know that, like, you can have an idea to go do something, but I also know that executing that idea is a lot more difficult in real life than it is when you actually talk about it. And the reason is because, like when we went to go do the measurements, right, of Lake Balaton, which was 5 years ago this week, by the way. This is the 5-year anniversary of the Lake Balaton measurement. So when we went to Lake Balaton and we were doing the laser test, like, you think it sounds funny. I'll stand on this side of the lake and you stand on the other side of the lake and we'll point our lasers at each other and we'll see it and voila! Flat Earth is proved, right? The globe is debunked. Well, when you actually go do it, it's fucking hard. Like, okay, because you're talking about miles out, like, you can't see the other person with your naked eye. So you have to be on a call with the other person, and you guys have to be like, and it has to be dark enough to where you can actually see the laser. Like, you can't, obviously you have to do it at night, which makes it even more difficult because now it's nighttime and you have to point your laser at, like, a landmark or a land feature that you can't even fucking see anymore. Right? So it's actually really hard. Like, doing those measurements with the lasers at night and then filming it all is not easy. It sounds easy. The idea is very basic, but then when you actually go out to execute it, it's not that easy. Hey, you remember? Yeah, somebody came through and bought channel memberships for of some people. So Voy, there's some channel member features in there that you have access to now while you're a member. Go watch Anarcho Verotistas. I have a second episode. I wanted to have it done this weekend, but I didn't get the editing done. So I'm going to finish that up this week, and I think by this weekend I'll have that other episode out. But that is a show that Rose and I have been doing for supporters. So it's not on YouTube public. It's available to channel members and to Patreons and to anybody who is on Rockfin Premium. That's what I'm saying, Jay. They're not they're not subject to the same oppression as we have been for decades, centuries, possibly now. At least the last 100 years. Right? They don't come up Murder Mountain. Who doesn't come up Murder Mountain? Bigfoots? I bet you got Bigfoots, Ben. They're just cool with you, so they leave you alone. They're like, oh, don't worry about Ben, he's cool. Oh, the census people don't go to Murder Mountain? Seriously, I want to live somewhere where census people don't go. I think that's the goal. Live somewhere where census people don't go. Yeah. See, and you're in California, Ben, and they don't come up Murder Mountain. Nobody counted you. So, like, there's got to be other people like that, right? Where they live so remote that they just don't get counted. I'm telling you, they have no idea how many people are on Earth. They have no idea. I don't even know, they have no idea. No idea. I feel like their census is like their attempt to see how right their guess is. Yeah, maybe Bigfoots don't die. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I would say that I would venture to say that I think they do have a life cycle because there's young Bigfoots, right? There's children, there's small ones. And the footprint collection that people have gathered over the decades, like they got studied by people who are biologists, right? And they have the same growth curve as like if you took the different sizes of human footprints, like from baby to child to young adult into adult, like that growth curve, and then you put it on a chart. The Bigfoot's footprints have the same curve, that same growth curve as like humans do, or like any other creature, right? If you put, plot their growth on a chart, Bigfoots have that. Because they've studied them so much as far as like the clues that they've left as far as tracks and stuff, just from the size of the foot, they have that. So if there's children, if there's young ones, then they must have a life cycle and they must pass at some point. I would think. How long is that life cycle? I don't know. I don't know. They have zero idea. There are at least 100 people just in this mountain that don't get counted. Exactly. They don't know. Like giant tortoise lifespan. Right. I'd be looking for Christy to throw me a snack. That's hilarious. I'm just looking at what you guys are. Yeah. So, yeah, nice little Bigfoot chat. I always like to talk about Bigfoot. Bigfoot evidence. So let's see, Bigfoot footprints. Here's some casts of footprints. Is that it? If you guys want to look at like the comprehensive, I wonder if Dr. Jeff Meldrum still has his supposedly, the oldest known picture of Bigfoot was taken in 1923 in Cobalt, Ontario. The subject, known as Old Yellowtop, so named for a head full of blonde streaks despite dark body hair, haunted the community of Cobalt from 1906 to 1970. 3 sightings in 64 years. Truthfully, we don't even know who took this picture and under what circumstances. As you can tell, it is next to impossible to determine the validity of this image, not to mention just about any Bigfoot picture ever snapped or created. Old yellow top. That's creepy. Looks like a... I don't know what that is. That's a weird picture. I've never seen that. 1923 photograph. So would they try to colorize it? Greenbrier AR trail cam picture. This one. Highly sussy to me. Isn't that crazy though? 1995 photograph taken by a Forest Patrol officer at Wild Creek in the Mount Rainier foothills north of Ashford, Washington. They don't have that much pictures of Bigfoot though. The too good to be true high-resolution clips of suspicious origin. I bet those are the Todd Standing videos. Yep.
Where's that? Holy shit. Where's the... Oh, come on. Where? It's right there. I don't have my glasses on. Look at that.
Yeah, this is, I think, Todd Standing.
That's what's making the noise. Holy...
Timber giant. Bigfoot.
Oh, crap, I lost it. Where'd it go? Holy... I'm pretty sure that was the thing that was making the noise. I'm not seeing it now. But I think that's it. Holy... Oh, cameras everywhere. Oh, where is it? There it is. his feet. I'm behind it, I guess. I'll see what happens. I don't know if I should do this or not. It's not even. Where is it? Where's that? Oh, look at this. Holy freak.
Right, like you're gonna go walk after that thing.
I can hear it moving. You see that just got up and. Holy.
I don't know. This one I find to be very sussy. Sussy. I was wondering if Bigfoot was close last night when I was filling my generator. It smelled super strong like wet dog. Ben, that's the smell. That's the smell. Like wet dog times 1,000. like why does everything smell like wet dog? Like dirty, nasty wet dog. Do rangers sign a non-disclosure agreement? No, they don't. Actually, I wonder if I can find my, hold on. There's even, like, in Washington State, where they have the most sightings, like up here, they even have it, they would post stuff, and in California too, and I don't know about Oregon, maybe Oregon too, but I remember they would post, they had signs that they would post that says, oh, there's been sightings of Bigfoot. Let me see if I can find it. I had a copy of the flyer before. Here we go. This is, I guess, British Columbia. BC Forest Service Bulletin 808-18 Sasquatch Alert. Attention visitors. Sasquatches have been sighted coming down from the mountains to feed on fish, freshwater clams, and vegetation. Do not be alarmed if you have an encounter. Remain calm. Do not run. Do not separate from your group. Do not chase Sasquatch. Do not feed Sasquatch. Do take photos. Record location and direction of travel. Report encounter. Sasquatches are not aggressive, nor will they harm you. British Columbia Forest Service. I'm finding stuff in here that is not Sasquatch related. I'm sorry, you guys. Do you guys remember this? Remember when this stuff first broke and all the like pre-programming stuff that we were finding? I feel like, you know, we always forget about this stuff. Like, remember there's this book, it's Dean Koontz, The Eyes of Darkness. In 81 predicted the outbreak of the coronavirus. So it was around then that a Chinese scientist named Li Chen defected to the United States carrying a diskette record of China's most important and dangerous new biological weapon in a decade. They call this stuff Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their rDNA labs outside of the city of Wuhan, and it was the 400th visible strain of man-made microorganisms created at that research center. Huh. Sorry, just a random thing. Having a tea party with Bigfoot Sasquatches. Do you guys remember what Rasta Bear was saying about the trees? There's actually, this is a drawing of somebody showing like a Sasquatch blending into a tree. What else do I have here? And that other guy that I was saying, Todd Standing. Well, here's let me show you a picture. I should show you guys this too. Bigfoot knowledge. Okay, so Todd Standing is a guy. This is Todd. There's a video. I don't know if you've ever seen video where there's a close-up of a Sasquatch face, and this is the face, and it's just standing there and it blinks. Well, somebody was very clever and overlaid, they call it Blinky's face on Todd Standing's face, and you can see that Blinky has the same proportions on the face as a human. See, and this is like the biggest giveaway to these hoaxers is when they have human proportions, because it's not a human. And there's plenty of other video and stuff where, like, especially Patty, the Patterson-Gimlin film, like there's plenty of other video where they show that the proportions don't match human proportions. Like the arm length to the body length and the leg length and the walk, the way that they walk, it's not like a human. There's a lot of hoaxers in the Bigfoot world. And you know, it's not unlike Flat Earth in that way. You know, it's like we all know that the Earth is flat, but there's a whole bunch of people creating this sort of like side thing that's attached to Flat Earth, right? They're making their own, they're trying to get attention by injecting their own sort of fantasy and convincing people of this fantasy that they have overlaid on top of the truth that is Flat Earth. The same people do this shit in Bigfoot, in the world of Bigfoots, right? Like, it's real, Bigfoot is real, and we all know that it is, like there's no question, but then there's people who want to go and create false evidence of it or false stories of sightings, and you don't need to. There's no necessary, it's not necessary to create stories because there is truth. There's already truth there to be discovered. And I don't understand, well, I guess I do understand it, you know, the need for people to take a truth and then twist it and build on top of it and, you know, embellish it and sort of try to draw attention to themselves by what they're creating based off of this truth. I mean, people love attention. They love attention. They want to be the one who found something. They want to be admired or they want to be, you know, known for something. They want, you know, I don't know what that is, but what it is doing is it's motivating people to create things that are not based on truth. And, you know, it happens in the Bigfoot world, it happens in the Flat Earth world. You know, there's a lot of bullshit no matter what the subject is. So, just know that, you know, it is what it is. I wish I had a higher res picture of this image. Bigfoot and other Pongidai comparison chart. Can't even read most of it. Weird facts you never knew about Bigfoot. There are at least 12 different kinds of Bigfoot just in the United States. Well, I don't know how they know that. Bigfoot legends go back at least 3,000 years. The original Bigfoot makes a sound like a steam engine. Bigfoot has psychic powers. It is possible that Bigfoots bury their dead. Now, it is possible that Bigfoots bury their dead. Because they are sentient, and because they do seem to have a normal, like, life and death cycle like every other physical sort of being on this realm. So when they die, what happens? You know? Everybody says, oh, well, if we'd have found... If Bigfoots were dead, we'd have found their remains by now. Well, maybe we did. You know what I'm saying? How do we know that when people don't find, like, giant bones, that it's not a Bigfoot bone, a Bigfoot skeleton, and then in comes the Smithsonian to come scoop it up and take it away and hide it so nobody else can, you know, find out what it is or study it or research it or whatever, right? How do you know? I mean, maybe we have found them. How do you know that some of the Bigfoot bones don't get turned into some of those weird made-up dinosaur relics that they try to make up every now and then? Or some of the... Or if a Bigfoot died somehow before it became an adult and it was still human size, how do you know that some of these Bigfoot... Some of these skeletons weren't found and then they call them, you know, relic hominids or they call it Cro-Magnon or Neanderthal or whatever bullshit they want to say it is, right? How do you know we haven't found them already? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's possible. I mean, look how many people... We know that there's billions, at least millions of people on Earth. How many dead bodies have you seen? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many dead bodies do you come across on a daily basis? Even though there's literally millions of people... You know, it's not like there's human bones being found everywhere. I mean, you can find them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we know that panthers and you know, mountain lions exist, but do you know how rare it is to find the remains of a mountain lion? And not only that, but, you know, when things die in nature, the body decomposes. Other creatures come and, like I have found, you know, pieces of skeleton out in the woods, and, like, they can't be that old, but you can see little teeth marks from, like, little rodents and rats and whatever else coming along and, like, chewing on the bone, probably to get the mineral content out of it somehow, you know, or to, like, wear down their teeth. You know, rodents need to chew on stuff to wear down their teeth, right? So, like, there's stuff happening all the time to sort of recycle whatever matter is, like, out in the elements and in the world. So, you know... Just because we haven't found the remains of them doesn't mean that they don't exist. Hoax are assholes, yeah. Is Dean Koontz Stephen King? I thought Stephen wrote under a different name, but is it? I thought Dean Koontz was his own, was another person, but I don't know. I made it a mission to destroy my ego, then I realized what it's for. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to destroy your ego completely. I mean, we have them for a reason. Elephants have a ceremony of sorts when an elephant dies, yeah. I think they put their dead bodies underwater with a big rock over the top. I mean, I don't know. Bigfoots have the ability to transport through trees, says Lord Frybread. Okay, yeah, see, I've heard that before. I've never seen it, but that's what I've heard from a number of people. They think that they use the trees. I don't know how, though. It's called Muddying the Water, designed to confuse. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, it is called Muddying the Water, but it's also called People Love Attention. You know? People love attention. They want to be loved. They want to be admired. They want to be told how great they are for doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, It is what it is. Elephants communicate via infrasound. Yeah, so do the Bigfoots. Creature in Beowulf. I don't remember that. Anyway. Bigfoot and Chupacabra work together to hunt their prey. Okay, that's bullshit. Bigfoots communicate through tree knocks. I think that's possible, but Bigfoot might be a surviving member of a presumed extinct race of ancient apes. No. Bigfoot's like apples, and Bigfoot has a ruthless streak. Well, self-preservation is a thing. You know what I'm saying? Think about what happens when a Bigfoot runs into humans in nature. How do humans act? Scream, they get scared, they start shooting. You know, if I was a Bigfoot, I wouldn't want to hang around humans either. Have you ever seen a Bigfoot or something? Now, Stephanie, yes and no, and I know that's a weird answer, but yes and no. Like, I've never seen... I can't say that I've had like a class A sighting where I can say, dude, there's this big man-like creature. It was 10 feet tall and it had hair all over and blah, blah, blah. And like those like in-depth descriptions like you'll see in some of these encounters, like the red ones, I'm guessing all these red ones have the description where they were actually seeing Bigfoots. But, I've seen like a shadow, like where the dog was barking. One day, my dog was looking out in the backyard barking at the woods behind the house. And it was just a normal afternoon. And the dog was like violently barking out the window, right? And so I go to look out the window and I don't see anything. And then I open my back door and I walk out the back porch, down the steps a little bit onto the grass. And to my left, I saw like out of the corner, because I'm looking like this, and out of my peripheral vision, I saw what looked like a person walking into the woods, right? Like the shape, like a shadow figure maybe, walking into the woods. And this is like 3, 4 in the afternoon. And so I seen this thing that looked like it walked into the woods and then just was gone. And I walked over there and I was like, hello? Hello? Is anybody there? Right? Because it looked like a person. So I was like, I was thinking, is there somebody walking around on my property? Like, are you lost? Is this a trespasser? But I didn't see or hear, nobody was responding, right? So, but it was so weird. And I just stood there for a minute because, and like I live on like the top of a little hill, and, you know, back behind my house is the woods, and then it starts to go downhill to a creek, you know. So I'm standing behind my house at the edge of the woods, at the edge of the hill, right where it starts to go down the hill. And I'm just looking into the woods, trying to see anything I can see. And I hear this crazy freaking sound, like this crazy howling sound. I'm not even going to try to, I don't even want to try to imitate it because I can't. But it was this crazy, loud, like, whoa, like crazy sound, right? And I was like, what is that sound? And then I hear something pounding, like running on the hillside, just barely out of my eyesight. And all I can see is like the very top of like what looks like a head running off towards the power line, off the property, like just out away. And I could hear it. I could see just the very top of it, but it was just out of sight because you know how thick the woods are. Like I couldn't see that clearly, but I just heard something running, and then it just was gone. And I don't know what it was. It was going fast. It made a crazy sound. So that's one of the times where I think I might have seen one, okay? But I can't positively identify it. But it was fucking bizarre. I'll just say that. It was one of the most bizarre things ever. So that happened. I think that might be it. Oh no. Then the second time that I saw one was completely different. Completely different. The second time that I saw one was when Cammie was here, and we were out in the backyard, and it was the first day she showed up when she came to stay with me when they still lived in Colorado, and she came to stay at my house for like a month for a summer, and we were just hanging out. And the first day when she gets here, all the woods, like, Cammie's in chat, she'll tell you, she will attest to this. It was like all these sounds, and it was like things were running in and out of the woods, like the trees were moving. Like, it was weird. It was really weird. It was like the woods had come alive, and there was excitement, like this energy of excitement in the woods. I can't explain it any other way. And so me and Cammie are standing out in my backyard, and we're just talking about how trippy it is that the woods are like so animated, and we're not seeing anything, but we're hearing stuff, and it's like they were being really playful. Like there was multiple Bigfoots in the woods running around, like being like little tricksters, right? Is what it seemed like. So then I'm standing there and we're just talking about it, and I look over Cammie's shoulder behind her, just into the wood line, and I see this like silhouette standing there, and it's moving back and forth, right? Like swaying back and forth. And if you read a lot of Bigfoot encounters, a lot of them will say that they see the figure standing there and it's swaying back and forth. And I think when they do that, it's like, that's a good thing. It's like a good body language. Like they're excited. It's almost like they were excited that me and Cammie were outside, and we knew that they were there, and we weren't being freaky, and we weren't screaming, and we were laughing, and we were thinking it was cool. And I think that they were like, this is cool. They're not afraid, but they didn't like right out show themselves. But I saw this silhouette, and this is when I say I saw a cloaked Bigfoot. So I saw this silhouette of like a big humanoid shape in the woods, but I couldn't see it, but I could see the shape of it. And it was like the light was refracting around it. And that's how I knew where the shape was. And the only way I can describe it is like in the movie Predator, when the Predator types in the little thing and he makes himself go invisible, and then you can't see him anymore, but you can see the shape because it's like he's there, and it's like lights refracting. That's what it looked like. And it was in my woods, and I saw it there, and I watched it for a couple of minutes, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. Probably Cammie can tell you. I was like, I don't even know, what am I looking at? Like, it was just so surreal. So for those are my two sightings of Bigfoot. The first one, like I said, I couldn't really positively identify it, but I saw something and I heard something, and it was and both of these, by the way, are in broad daylight. Perhaps Jacob's brother Esau was a Bigfoot covered in red hair, Yeah, you know what? I thought about that too. And like how Jacob fools their father into making him believe that he's Esau by using like a goat, like a pelt of a goat on his arm. Like, that's thick, right? So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. All right. So everything else has been like hearing stuff or seeing them shake trees, or them leaving stuff around the property, or stuff like that. But most of it is not stuff that I see. It's stuff that I hear and experience. One time they zapped me in the woods. They zapped me from the neck down. Most of Mexico is empty. 132 million Mexicans as of Monday, February, and they live in a very small part of it. Yeah. So, yeah, wasn't really expecting to talk about Bigfoot today, but hey, that's cool. What do you mean zapped? Zapped, like I was sitting out, by my fire pit one afternoon, and I kind of got the feeling like they were there. You know, it's weird. It's like this is when you start to think about energy, frequency, and vibration, and like how we're talking about, like, if somebody's bad or negative, you can sense it, you can feel it, or if something's watching you, you feel it. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Your heart field and downloading subconscious information from the ether. Like, the information is in the ether. You just have to be open to receive it, right? You have to be listening and be ready to try to, decipher that information. So when I was out there, I was like, man, I feel like there's something watching. Like, are the Bigfoots here? And I just kind of sat there and I was just looking around in the woods, because that was like one of those times where I was like, I feel like I'm going to see one right now. Am I going to see one? And then instead of seeing or hearing anything, my whole body started to vibrate, like, very distinctly from the neck down. Like, my body was like vibrating, but not from the neck up. I could feel it. I could feel like a very subtle vibration on my body. And one of the people that I initially started following as far as Sasquatch stuff goes was this guy named Dr. Matthew. Oh god, I'm having a brain fart right now. This guy, he wrote a couple of books. Matthew Johnson, I want to say, maybe. Anyway, he wrote a book where he habituates interacting with a clan, and they calls it Xanu, the Xanu clan, befriending the Bigfoot forest people. Matthew Johnson, right? So, like, he seeing how it's got portals and orbs and stuff, because portals, orbs, like, they regularly will go into the deep woods of Oregon and interact with the clan. And they actually have people that have experienced healing. Like, they have done miracle healing on people. I think they're definitely healers, right? So if you watch some of the videos by him, it's called Team Squatchin' USA on YouTube. You can see a lot of the video, what are they called? Testimony. There's a lot of video testimonials of people who go on these trips, these camping trips, where they go out into the forest and they interact with these Bigfoot clans, and people have experienced miraculous healings. And a lot of the way that they describe how it's feeling is like they get zapped. Like, it's almost like the Bigfoots will, like, scan you and see what's going on. Like, they can see what's inside of you. And I don't know if that's what they were doing to me that day, but I felt it was really weird. And I didn't feel scared. It wasn't anything scary or intimidating or anything like that, but it was weird. So I think the ether and magnetic flux are the same thing, and the EMF of the flux can carry information. Probably. Yeah. You know? It's all electric magnetic. So, yeah. Need some trail camera footage. I know! See, I've had trail cams out on the property. I never catch anything. A couple of times I caught some weird shadows. I mean, I've seen some weird shadows and stuff, but like I've never caught anything. I think they know, you know, and there've been times when I've even gone back there with my phone, like when I was really, really into Bigfoot stuff and I was like all I was doing for a while. I went back there with one of my phones a while ago, and the phone had like 80% battery on it, and I shit you not, I was out there and I was pulling my phone out and I was just going to start taking a random video, and I pull my phone out and I wake it up and it just says battery dead and it just shut down right in front of my face. And I was like, "What?" And I don't know if you guys have heard that, but like there's been a lot of stories too where people talk about like their batteries get drained immediately. Like their electronics start acting weird. And so that's happened to me. I mean, just all kinds of weird stuff, you know? And it's not, none of it is really like a definitive proof of anything. It's all really anecdotal. But when you start to talk to other people and other people have the same experiences and it's all of it's unexplainable, you know, it kind of makes you wonder, you know, what's going on? Yeah, they could know. They could know. So my phones are still open, 848-222-2480, if anybody wants to call and talk about Bigfoot. Or maybe you don't want to talk about Bigfoot. Is everybody bored of Bigfoot talk yet? Yeah. Hi, Carrie. I don't know if anybody has an explanation for ME. I used mushrooms to destroy my ego a couple years ago. Took a while to rebuild. You just have to build it with beautiful things. Oh, you know what, Cody? That's nice. That kind of makes sense, I guess. It makes sense to deconstruct your ego so you can rebuild it. Build back better. Subject change. I have been looking for experiments because I had heard that people had done experiments with basalt and what temperatures and the process that it might go through when creating hexagonal columnar jointing land formations, i.e. Devil's Tower, Giant's Causeway, Devil's Postpile, anything. Never bored with Bigfoot talk. Thanks, Marty. I'm never bored with Bigfoot talk either, but it seemed like the chat was slowing down. I was like, well, maybe people are just not that into Bigfoot anymore. Maybe I should change the subject. Yeah. They might live underground. They could. They probably do live underground if they probably do use the cave systems, right? They probably do. But I also don't think they need that. But they probably do. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Good afternoon, Karen. I guess I wanted to weigh in. I'm a big fan on, the realm manifesting for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nothing new. But for me, in my experience in life, and I'm an older guy, what you believe, what you really believe, it comes to pass. And so, I don't know. Well, I do know but it seems related to the whole conversation.
Okay.
And you say, you're nuts. No.
Well, let's hear it.
Well, it's kind of like you were talking about before, where, are you ready?
Oh,
Well, maybe not.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there is if you have doubt, then yeah, it's not gonna. I like the inner city, my inner city example. Oh, I'll never get out of the city. The gunshots, the bars on the walls, the inner city, and they don't. But the guy next door, or the gal next door, or whoever, says, "I know I'm getting out. I'm getting out. I'm getting out," and the door opens, and they're out. Now, I've got tons of testimonies of my own and watching other people, so I'm convinced. But yeah, if you believe in whatever it is you're believing in, I just like those people that manifest the UFOs out west. Good example. So that's where I'm going at, and that's all I got to say, Karen.
Okay. Are you saying that we're manifesting Bigfoot with our minds?
Well, I don't believe that look, I'm not into the whole your mind is a memory machine either. More along the lines of receiver transmitter,
Right.
and what you're tuning into. I'm in that camp, so not real popular. A lot of people don't believe that. They think I'm nuts or whatever, but I've seen it and I use it, and yeah, it does work. But if you have doubt, any doubt at all, a smidgen of doubt, that'll affect it. On the other case, if you truly believe, well, then you get convinced. You get convinced of that rather readily. And hey, the realm's job, in my experience, is to lead you away from that, so that you don't know. You like to tell us Disney's the magical kingdom. No. You're in the magical kingdom.
I know that.
And I know that. Yeah. So, and you other people. This is not a new subject. A new subject for maybe some of you younger folks, but for me, it's old. It's old news. So yeah, whatever you believe, don't be afraid. Don't doubt. Believe. I'm not a churchy. I'm not into religion. But I know that there's clean and unclean spirits, or frequencies, or wavelengths, however you want to look at it. But I know that there is.
Mm-hmm.
So when you tune out of the unclean 440 whatever, it all applies. And you tune into the clean, you clean it up. After all, that's what holy means. Clean. Holy, holy, holy. Clean, clean, clean. Got to be clean. Got to be clean. Got to be clean. Okay. So you clean it up, and like I said, I don't go to church. I'm not into this organized religion. But if you do read Matthew 5, 6, and 7, and you get on it, and you will be convicted, and you get on it, and you clean it up, then yeah, things start happening in a big way. Big way. So the whole thing about do not be afraid, believe. If you do not doubt and you believe, two or more come together, all that put together, it'll be done for you as you have believed. Well, I got to tell you, in my life and in my experience, that's exactly the way it is. So I'm not trying to give anybody advice, not telling anybody how to worship or anything like that, but for me, it's very real. And so it applies to the Bigfoot, the skinwalker, the whatever, UFOs, all these things that you can't put your finger on, and yet they appear to be something going on. So, and it goes for just about anything. I mean, you could apply this to anything normal, anything paranormal. So, like I said, I really only have one thing to say. It's what you believe But you can't doubt. You can't be like on the fence or thinking, oh, I'm not ready, or like, okay, well, I'm gonna believe I get the lottery numbers. But, hey, go there. Why not? But if you got any doubt at all, your numbers ain't gonna come up. And that would be like a really hard one to believe. Okay, I don't know if I said that right, but I've tried it, and just there's always something there that doubts. So, okay, I gave that up because apparently I'm just going to doubt. And I don't revisit it because I don't think it's a clean frequency. I really don't think so. Or at least that's, when I say I don't think so, that means that's my experience and the way I feel. So whatever your reality is, then that's what's going to manifest. And there's there's other examples, like, the realm messing with you. How many times you get the pulled plug in right? Or I'm looking for something, it's like, I know it was right there. I know this has happened to me plenty of times. And when I describe this to other people, they, their eyes get big and, I don't know. Because I believe it's for all of us. It was right there. And then you start looking all over the place. So it's got to be right here. I just thought I'm looking for it. I know where it is. Oh, and it seems, but in my experience, either two things happen. Either you say, okay, I'll just give it up and it'll come to me. Or you accuse somebody in your heart of stealing it or moving on you. As soon as you do one or two of those two things, then boom, there it is. It's like, I looked right there how many times it wasn't there, and all of a sudden, there it is. It sounds kind of kooky, but I'm pretty sure we've all had that experience, just never thought of it in that way. And of course, you got to be careful, because if you're like, oh, well, that's the realm's messing with me, it's not careful, but observant. You start thinking that way, and then it starts happening more often. So with all of these things, when you start to understand and you start getting even flat Earth, you start believing it, all sorts of things start coming to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this could apply to just about everything. It's like, well, how many times do you get that plug right? And 9 times out of 10, you're like, what do they guess? 50%? They're looking for a percentage. What's the percentage? Because I ask them, so now they're thinking percentage. I'm like, really? How about none? And then they go, oh, yeah. They're like, never. So just kooky stuff like that. Not so kooky, but like I said, if you live in the magical kingdom, well, then, yeah, anything's possible. So, yeah, I guess if you got a bunch of people believing in Bigfoot, it's going to start popping up. I've heard people, describe their experiences to me. I'm up here in Wisconsin, and I got to tell you, I have spent a lot of time in the field and stream, lakes, hunting, everything, sportsmen's, patrons' licenses, all that stuff. I spent a lot of time in the field. And if you're out, you're out there by yourself, or you're out there with somebody else, and if you are doing a little bit of the wacky stuff, like in my youth, my brother and I, we used to call it telescoping eyes, because everything just comes alive, and you're seeing things that you never noticed before, type thing. Or you can sit more quiet, and then after 5 minutes, everything starts coming out. So I imagine, if you're partaking, then you could, and then you add the manifestation part to it, what you believe. It can be a trip. But I'm not trying to convince anybody, or I'm not trying to offer an explanation. I'm just figured, you know what? I'm going to call in. I haven't been paying attention, and I just wanted to weigh in. That's all it is.
All right.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Okay, cool. Have a good one.
I know I always say that.
Oh, whoops, I muted him. But I got other callers. I'm going to move on. Thank you for calling. Will everyone please start believing in beautiful flat earth wife for me? Much appreciated. You want us to manifest you a wife there, Ryan? Echoes of some of the UFO encounter stories where the car stalls, the electronics stop working. Not that I believe in outer space aliens. It's all coming from down under. Well, you know what's funny though is that there's actually a lot of Bigfoot sightings that are associated with UFOs. There's like enough that's happened enough that now they think there's a connection. But here's what I wonder. I gotta wonder if the UFOs aren't military tech hunting or trying to find said Bigfoots. And then people see them together. Very interesting. Who knows? Who knows? Thank you for calling. You're on with Coffee. You're on with Karen B. Hello? Are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to the guy next to you.
Okay, Karen, I can't believe this. I had a Bigfoot story, I guess. I don't know. I was in Minnesota, and I got to where I was going, and I got out. It was like full moon, and I walked out by the lake, and something screamed at me, and it like freaked me out. Like, I gotta go in the house right now. I don't know. This is so weird. I didn't think you were going to answer.
Oh. Well, I did. So you had something scream at you? Where were you?
In Minnesota. You want to know exactly
Minnesota?
where I was? I was, what?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was in Park Rapids, Minnesota, and at my mother-in-law's cabin. I'd gone there, and I don't know. It just freaked me out. A lot of stuff has happened there to me, and when you said somebody call me in, you want to talk about it some more, I was like, yeah, talk about it some more.
Okay. That's cool. So, Minnesota. Let me see if I can bring up my map again.
Oh, wow. I had to turn your show off. I've been listening for a while and watching what you're doing, and I don't know. I feel like I know all you guys now. Weird.
Okay. So, yeah, there's definitely some sightings from Minnesota.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, another time I was helping my buddy up there and taking apart his deck, and like down across the road, I was unscrewing these screws like with a ratchet gun, you know, making noise way out in the middle of nowhere. And I heard something kept banging on these trees down there by the road. And I went down there and I just looked around and I didn't see nothing. And it got really quiet as I got up to the road. And I just looked around and thought, oh, nothing here. So right when I turned around to go back up to what I was doing, something knocked on a tree really loud. And it was just like kind of spooked me a little bit. So I didn't turn around again. I just walked back up and went back to what I was doing.
And what part of Minnesota is this again? The general area?
Park Rapids.
Park Rapids?
Park Rapids. Like Long Lake there. Is the first one. I don't know.
Fascinating. I'm not finding Park Rapids. I see Grand Rapids. Is Park Rapids by Grand Rapids?
It's like straight across from Fargo to the east, about in the middle of the state.
Oh. Okay.
Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm looking at the Bigfoot map, and I just want to see if there's other sightings from like where you're talking about. Did you say
Yeah,
east
I
or
don't
west?
know. I east of Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh, east. Okay.
If you know where that's at, that's how I go up there.
Okay. So here's Fargo. All
Go
right.
straight east on that road, about in the middle there somewhere. It's a little town, like 4,000 people or something like that.
Yeah, there's a couple other sightings, but it's not super thick with sightings in that area.
Yeah, I've looked before, what I could find. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been into it for a while since that happened to me, and then Flat Earth comes and all. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
something's going on,
Yep. That's right.
Wow. Well, I don't want to keep you. This is awesome and weird, and I don't know.
Awesome and weird.
Just a couple of away.
That's cool. Well, thanks for calling.
Hey, thank you.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
That's crazy. Land of 1,000 lakes. My dad used to say 10,000 laws. Or land of 10,000 lakes and 10,000. That's like California. Although I don't know how bad Minnesota is with their... There are many long lakes in Minnesota. Probably a good place to do some curvature measurements. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hello, Karen.
Hello.
How are you? This is Brian.
Hi, Brian. What's up?
Hey. Not much. Just what's up, Brian.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to call about my two Bigfoot Sasquatch encounters in West Virginia. They happened at it's called Cranberry Glades. It's in Pocahontas and Nicholas County. The first one I had was in, I think it was like 1987. I was like 17. That's the one where I was fishing. And the place we go camping at is like in the dead of nowhere. It's called Camp Splinter. And there's no one there ever, hardly. I've never seen another person there every time I've been there. But anyways, I was pretty far down in the river, and I was on the other side of an island, and I was trout fishing. I'm sitting there fishing, just minding my own business, and I look up and I see something. It's maybe 75, 100 yards away, start like coming through the bushes, and there's a lot of black bears there, and I've seen a ton of black bears. And this is before I even knew anything about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, so I was like, okay, what's this? I was a little nervous that it might be a bear, and so I'm downwind from it as well. So I kind of crouched down behind a rock and looked, and the bear would crawl out on all fours. This thing come out on two legs and walked out maybe 30 foot into the river and sat down on a rock and started washing itself off, like washing its face off. And I was like, holy shitski, what am I witnessing right here? It gave me chills all up down my spine. It didn't see me. And, that was my first experience. I just kind of leaned out and eased down the river a good ways and come up and walked up on the path and walked way down the river, just kept fishing. Like I said, I was a little nervous when I had to come back. So I was like, that thing could be anywhere. But, nothing ever happened. We stayed there for a week and nothing ever happened.
That's crazy.
So that was my first one, okay?
How far away was
one.
it from you? Can you guess, like, about how far away it was when you saw it do that?
Maybe, like I said, maybe 75 yards, maybe 100, maybe less. I could see it very, very well. Well. I couldn't see like this is a long time ago as well. And like I said, I was 17 at the time. I'm 52 now, but I couldn't see like any, close-up features. I could see a facial. I mean, it wasn't no bear. I mean, I know for a fact, and it was way too big and way too tall, and no black bear is going to walk out into the river, sit down, and start washing its face off and its body off. I mean, I didn't stick around long to sit and, gawk at it for a long time. I just got the hell out of there. It was freaky, but I wasn't scared. I mean, it didn't freak me out. It wasn't I didn't take off running or anything like that. I just, I was like, okay, that's, what the hell was that? That was unique. It gives me chills now just kind of talking about it, but it was freaky.
That's trippy.
And the other one I had was with, that's when they were throwing rocks. You read my comment where they were throwing rocks at our campsite, that was with my cousin, his wife, and my girlfriend at the time. And this is maybe 11 at night. And we're sitting around the campfire, we're probably smoking a little, drinking some beer, shooting shit. And we kept hearing thumps, thud, thud. This is the same spot, well, in the same area. It's in West Virginia. But we're like, what in the hell is this? We're all kind of looking around, we're looking at each other. We weren't scared, couldn't smell anything or anything like that. And we're camped pretty close to the river. So the river's maybe 30 foot away from us, but it's a pretty good sized river. I mean, it's not massive, but, and we could hear rocks being thrown in the water as well. Big rocks. And we're like, what in the fuck is going on? But the rocks were thrown at us in our campsite. They were thrown behind us or whatever it was. And so my cousin and I were like, what the hell? The girls were kind of freaked out. My cousin and I were. We took flashlights. So we go looking around where we could hear where the thuds or the rocks were being, were hitting the ground. And we couldn't really see anything. We found a couple of rocks. But of course, this is a bottom in a riverbed, so there are rocks, there as well. And nothing happened. So we walked back, it was 10, 15 feet from our campsite. We go back to the fire, sit there, and they start happening again. We hear thud, thud, thud. These ones were coming closer to us, but over our head and behind us. The other ones were beside us. And we're like, what the fuck? So we yelled out, hey, whoever is doing this, please stop. You're freaking us out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we heard a big boosh in the water, like a big ass rock, and we could hear rocks being flipped over in the creek bed. So we go out with our flashlight, shine out into the creek bed. We see nothing. We're like, what is going on here? Are we losing our minds? And we weren't drunk or messed up. I mean, nothing like that. And the girls are freaking the hell out. And we was we don't know. And we kept, and this, like I said, it lasted maybe 2 hours. It was off and on. It wasn't the whole 2 hours all this was happening. We'd sit and talk. We're shoot the shit. We're kind of a little shook about it, but nothing major. We hear it again, thump, thump. And there's no trees around us that would drop anything, like a hickory tree or anything like that. And it was it was in midsummer, so nothing would be dropping from the trees. And we're shining lights up in the trees, making sure it's not a raccoon or anything like that. And, I know raccoons will flip over rocks as they look for crayfish in the creek. I mean, we looked and looked and looked all up and down the creek bank, nothing. But as soon as we go back, that's when we start hearing the noises again, they were kind of either messing with us or toying with us. But like I say, nothing crazy, nothing to be afraid of. The girls were a little more shook up than we were, but that's about it. It was just odd.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And here I live in Mocksville, North Carolina, and there's supposedly a lot of, Sasquatch sightings, especially on the Yadkin River. But, I don't know. But, I mean, that's the lore around here where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's trippy. I've also had a crazy experience. Talk about something spiritual. I found a dead guy. And this was 2 years before seeing the Sasquatch, but this was in, I think, 1984, 85. I was 14. And I found this man on Halloween, of all days. But this kind of an odd story. His name was Andy. And I don't know if he had dementia or Alzheimer's, but or he was just really mentally challenged. But this was in Spanisburg, or in West Virginia. But he escaped this, I guess it's like a house or a home, for people like that. He thought the only friend he had, or the friends he had, were the woods. So he had escaped, and this is like the second time he escaped. And he would be gone for quite a while. But this second time, he was gone for almost a month. And my father and I, we saw him one day up in our woods, and where he escaped from was, probably a good 3-hour walk just on the road. So he had traveled a long way. He was on our family's property. But we didn't know if it was him or not. We just saw someone, and we tried to, yell out to him. The person took off running. And there's people that live all around there, so we didn't think much of it. But anyway, it was on Halloween Day. My cousin and I were going to go squirrel hunting, and I just had this overwhelming feeling to go to this spot that we never go to. I was always forbidden to go there when I was a child. It was a big cliff area beside a creek, and I've got good ass whoopings for going there because my mother thought we'd fall off the cliff and die, but we never hunted there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let's go here today. Just something like an overwhelming, compelling urge to go there. So we go there and have my dad's little dog. He's a little Norwegian elk hound, and so we walk through the field. It takes about a half hour to get there, and as soon as we step into the woods, I just had a weird feeling. It's like something was wrong. It gives me chills thinking about this as well. And we start to go down. I just have this urge. Something's like pulling me to the right, and my dog, or my dad's dog, had jumped a rabbit down in the bottom, was going crazy, had it in a hole. My cousin's like, let's go get the rabbit. I'm like, I can't. And I look over, and maybe 20, 30 foot away, I could see something laying on the ground. I was like, something's there, Mike. And he's like, what? I said, that's a dead man. He's like, what are you talking about? It was like, Karen, it was like I was being pulled. And my cousin's like, oh man, it's Halloween. It's probably, so-and-so playing a prank, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, it's something. And we argued for probably 5 minutes. And I said, F you, I'm going over here. And nothing was talking to me, nothing like that. I just had this, it gave me like chills and feelings. I had to go there. So I finally talked him into going there. And he couldn't feel any of this. He was blocked from this or something. As we started getting closer, I yelled out to where, the thing I'm seeing is like, if you are a person, you stand up and jump up. We have shotguns. We'll probably kill you. But, that didn't happen. So I walk up closer. My cousin won't go there. And I walk up closer, and I see it's a deceased body. And he was laying on a rock. It was like a rock that would be like a couch looking, but not like a couch. It had a flat surface and had another surface like a L shape.
Mm-hmm.
And had his boots off to the side. He had one arm laid across his chest, and I could see his face and everything. It was all. I don't want to get into the gross part, but it freaked us the hell out. We ran all the way home, and it's like it's a good half hour walk. We booked it all the way home. Went and told his dad, and he's like, okay, I'll call the police. I'm like, what? You believe us? He's like, well, if you're lying, you're gonna make dummies out of yourself. But anyway, long story short, his name was Andy. That was the missing man that had been missing for so long. It was like I was called there or something. I don't know. It was just very, very bizarre, and it was just got my name in our local town paper.
Oh, so he'd been missing for a while. So he'd probably been dead for a while when you found him.
Yes. The rescue squad and all that came there. They got sick trying to lift the poor guy up. I guess he'd come apart. Yeah, he was really decayed. He'd been there maybe. I think they estimated he may have been deceased maybe 2 weeks, maybe.
Oof.
So they said he died of like natural causes, but I don't know for sure. That's the only thing I could think of. And it wasn't that cold yet, but it was in October. End of October in West Virginia, but sometimes it gets cold, but it gets, wasn't that day we had on, t-shirts, but at nighttime it can get down really chilly, but he had a jacket on. So, it was just an odd, bizarre story, just how I felt like I was being called. I don't know how else to explain it, in a way.
Yeah,
It's just
so
it's odd. And
that's like one of those things where you're getting information, right? You're downloading information.
yes,
And probably because you knew that
yeah,
person, you had some sort of connection, which is probably why
yeah.
you heard that signal.
And like I said, I saw him. You know, it was like a month before that, and it was him because he had the same clothes on. But it was like a relief after I saw him and all that. It was like an overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
like sigh of relief went over my body, maybe like his body saying, okay, you know, I'm free now or whatever, you know, I'm found. Because, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, they had search parties ongoing search party for a long time. It's on the newspaper and on the news. If you see this man, I don't remember his last name, unfortunately, but his first name was Andy. But that was just a crazy story, a
Mm-hmm.
crazy thing that happened in my life besides the Bigfoot.
Right. Wow.
But and my mother have talked about like ghosts and hauntings. Yeah, I've heard a piano play at night in my mother's house. Her best friend, her house had some spirits or ghosts in there. They would do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they would just wreck her kitchen. She'd just cuss them, tell them to cut it out. I stayed the night there one time. She says, "Don't be alarmed if you." I love her to death. Her name is Sheila. She says, "Don't be alarmed if you start hearing the piano playing. It's just the friends." She called them like the friends. I'm like, what? And sure enough, yeah, I don't know what time it was, but there's a piano in the room, is in the living room, and I witnessed this with my eyes, heard and watched the keys go up and down, the piano playing. And it didn't play for long. Like when I woke up and actually started looking, it stopped. And I was like, okay.
That's creepy.
But I wasn't scared. You know, it didn't do anything. Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, she had one of her doors taken off the wall from the inside through the hinges. And, I mean, whatever this was or these things, I mean, they would just like mess with her. She just acted like it was normal. They didn't bother her. She, I guess, been dealing with it for years. And, you know, they would just wreck her kitchen, do shit and disturb her and do weird things. But, yeah, the Bigfoot thing was always been fascinated by that. Especially, you know, this was before I even knew anything about a Bigfoot. I mean, like I said, I was like 17. This is in the early 80s. And I didn't watch a whole lot of TV or hear anything about Bigfoot. But seeing that, you know, that just really, I've never forgotten that. I mean, it's always been ingrained in my memory. After I've argued with myself, you know, what in the hell was it? Then when I started seeing things about Bigfoot, I'm like, okay, I know what that is now. And just, it was bizarre. And I don't know if there's a whole lot of sightings in that area in Pocahontas County or Cranberry Glades. But if there was one to live there, that would be a good spot. I mean, it's the Monongahela National Forest. And especially in that area where I'm at, I mean, because there's nobody there. I mean, it's probably, the Cranberry connects to the Gauley River. So, I mean, there's miles and miles, you know, thousands of miles of wooded property land. And yes, if one was to live there, it'd be there's like one little cabin there. It's called Camp Splinter, which was built like in the 1800s. It was a Boy Scout camp. And it has a little cabin. It has one guy there, a caretaker. I've never spoken to him. I wish I would have. Maybe he's had encounters as well. But and Cranberry Glades is very popular. It has a botanical area that's like very unique to the United States. It has like the same flora and fauna like in some parts of Canada. There's like there's a big bog there. It has a boardwalk you can walk on, and it's like if you step off into it, you'll sink. But there's, you know, all kinds of different plant life that doesn't grow in many places except like, you know, in parts of Canada. I'm looking on the map right now where you're at. Let's see. I'm watching on TV. You can go to Pocahontas Camp. You got one right there.
Yeah, there's not a lot, but, you know, if there's not a lot of people here, there won't be a lot of sightings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's a small town. The town is called Richwood. It's just a really small little town. They have a ramp festival every year, which is, brings in a lot of people. But it's like I say, there's Pocahontas right in the very middle. There's go down to left a little bit, Pocahontas, down. No, go to the left. I'm sorry, go to the left.
To the left. That's this way.
Yeah, to the left, you'll see Pocahontas right in the very center. To the left of the screen, there's looks like a sound. There's a green sound like thing. Go the other way. Okay, up with your arrow. Up, and you'll see Pocahontas. It's no big deal, but all right. If you point there's a yellow Bigfoot where your cursor is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a yellow Bigfoot where your cursor is. All right, right there where your cursor is. Okay, right there. I mean, maybe that. No.
Someone said looks like that's a
where
sighting
your cursor
from
was the first.
1961.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Here's from 69. And this one is 2006.
Oh, that's kind of recent.
Yeah, this place looks wild though. I can tell just by looking at it.
Oh, it is.
It looks wild.
It's very mountainous, and I mean it's very sparse. I mean, there's little towns and communities everywhere, but it's just you're not really mountains per se, but hills and small mountains and very remote. I mean, where I was at, one could walk down there and just get totally lost easily. Unless they knew their way out. And what's funny, the trail that follows the river is an old abandoned railroad. Every once in a while, I find an old railroad spike. But I also got jumped by wild dogs down there. I was about 3 miles down away from my camp, and you talk about something that'll scare the bejesus out of you. I'm out in the middle of no damn where, and on one side of the trail goes down like a small cliff to the river, and the other side is in like a ravine, and it's nothing but thick laurels, and I could not see, nothing. And I don't know how many, maybe 8 to 10 dogs just come out of nowhere and start, there's different tones of the bark, so I could tell there were different sizes. And I mean, it scared the shit out of me. That's one thing that scared the shit out of me. And
yeah,
I'm like,
that's crazy.
If these are wild dogs, yeah, they could. No one even know. I mean, they could attack me and ate my ass up. And my dad and my cousin. I mean, they were like 3 miles away from me. They wouldn't even know till like that next day, or or the next morning, even though, or that evening, if I didn't come back. Like, what happened? I mean, hell, anything could happen. I could have fallen in and broke my neck and drowned for all they knew. But yeah, they scared the shit. And I screamed and yelled at them, and I had a big belt knife, and I found a railroad tie, and I strapped my fishing rod to my vest, and I just yelled at him and just ran like a bat out of hell as hard as I could. I mean, I was beat up. I had scratches all over my face and my arms because there's no trail there. You have to kind of like chop your way in. And I tell my father and my cousin, and they thought I was full of shit. So I take my cousin back there the next day. I knew about where they were. I think they had dens up in there because there's a lot of rock. There's a rocky cliff up above there, and they jumped out at us again. I was kind of prepared, and my cousin tried to climb a tree, and the damn tree broke off, and he about fell over the cliff. I said, "Call me a liar again."
Wow.
Yeah, I've had some crazy experiences, but my mother's friend I was telling you about with the ghost. Her parents' house also had a quote unquote ghost. They would walk up the steps every night and go into a bedroom, and her father finally got so damn mad he chucked the bed out the back door, and if he opened it would quit. It still never did. They had all kinds of odd things going on in their house as well. But these are really old houses in Princeton, West Virginia. Mm-hmm. My mom's friend Sheila, her house was pretty old. There's a whole lot more to her, quote unquote ghost experiences. I don't remember all of them. My mom's experienced quite a few of them with her. But it's weird what's unknown in this realm and the mysteries of this place. I find it fascinating.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm glad, you do shows like this to talk about different topics that are compelling and, bring up different ideas. I've always, loved that, and you're the best.
Wow, thank you. Thanks for calling.
Oh, you're quite welcome. I'm going to hop off here and let someone else call.
All right, awesome. Cheers.
All right, enjoy your day, and tell Ted, Brian, I said, what's up, and be good and be good at it.
All right, cheers. That's crazy, those stories, right? Watching a Bigfoot come out of the woods and go sit in the water and wash its face off. That's trippy. Although I've heard other stories like that. I heard a story like that where there was this couple, like they were driving across country and they just pulled off at some random lake, like out in just some random part of the country, and out walks this Bigfoot into the water. And they said it looked kind of like emaciated, like it looked sickly, but it freaked him out, and then they left. Anyway, it's a trip. Got out yesterday, got supplies. Ben, you got a bunch of trees that fell down? Oh no. There is a dozen trees down just in my yard from all the snow last night. Wow, did you guys get super dumped on? Karen, I thought it was a land of 1,000 lakes, also not 10,000. I wonder if this is a Mandela effect. I don't know. I always thought it was the land of 1,000 lakes, not 10,000 lakes, but I also can't like swear to that. I don't know. "1962 President Johnson, he who controls the weather will control the world." Yeah. All right, Stephanie, you have a great day. Someone call in with a one time at band camp Bigfoot story. Dude, we have been through 3 blizzards in a week. That's crazy. So no more drought for California. You know what I heard too? I heard that and I don't know if it's still like this, but Las Vegas, Lake Mead, I heard that it's so low and that they were not letting people record. Like it made it so you're not allowed to take video. It was so low. I wonder if that's still going on. Ooh, a caller. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Oh my God, Karen, listening to you talk about Bigfoot is like so hot. Oh my God, I'm coming, Karen. Oh my God.
I guess that was a troll. That wasn't even that funny. Next time you're gonna call and troll my channel, can you at least be funny? Alright, thanks. I'll be calling and trolling my show with no bunk shit. No boof trolling, alright? No boof trolling. If you're gonna troll, at least be fucking funny. Or something. Or clever. That was not clever. It was not funny. That went nowhere. And the person was from Canada too. Like I have caller ID on my call thing. So it's like, I can see where you're calling from. I can see your number. I can see your name. And I can see where you're calling from. Just so you know. Unless you block your number, I'm going to see it. Yeah, they hung up. A boof troll. Boof trolling. All right. Oh, I have alerts. Somebody bought a coffee. Somebody bought me a coffee. Whoever bought me a coffee, thank you. It's telling me somebody bought me a coffee, but it won't tell me who. Let me see if I can figure it out. Somebody sent me $20 on Ko-fi. Thank you. Anonymous person. Maybe it was the guy who just called. Manifesting is what I was just thinking about. Talking about the call earlier. Manifesting. Yeah. I think it's funny. Campfire stories. That went no. I know. All right. Well, it's 1 o'clock. I usually wrap it up around this time. So on that note, I will go ahead and close the phones. I appreciate everybody who called in and contributed to the show. I had planned on doing a little deep diving into more crystal formation stuff, but we talked about Bigfoot, which is totally cool with me. I can always get back into the crystal stuff later, because I talk crystals all the time. So why not talk Bigfoot for a little while? Once in a while is great. By the way, I was just noticing on this map, if you see a bright dot like that's bright blue like this, it says reported within the last 10 days. Well, no, not this one. I take it back, because the last one I did said that. Well, why does this have a blue dot? I'm trying to figure out. Was driving west on State Road 16 early a.m. nearing 6:15. Was nearing my turn, and in the headlights something very, very large and tall walked across the road. It was very large, had a barrel chest and a huge head with no neck. Head appeared somewhat conical. Walked in front of a road sign that was on north side of the road, and head was taller than the sign. I was certain of what I saw, was also shook, and as I never really expected to see one, it took some time to tell anyone. I've had other experiences with the vocals and woodknocks, but this was a sighting, and it changes you. That's October 12th, 2021. But there was another one. It said it was like within the last 10 days. Let me go. This one over here. Right here. This is New Jersey. Reported in the last 10 days. Traveled this road weekly for years. Heading south late one night, I was jamming out in the car and I had a killer sound system at the time. Windows down, sunroof open, dropping crazy beats through these woods. I see up ahead of me something standing on the northbound shoulder. I remember getting that skin-crawling feeling as I'm coming closer to it. I don't know anything about bears, but I would like to think I know what a bear looks like. And this thing I first thought was a horse standing up straight. It never moved. I drove past it as fast as I could, and I was already doing like 75. What I saw was standing upright and tall. That's about it, but no way, no how a person is out there standing ever. I think Mr. Bigfoot must have heard my car from a mile away and came to investigate the noise. I told several people over the years that I think I saw Bigfoot. I'm a believer and always will be. Too many cultures know the big guy for it to not exist. So I think those blue ones are like the most recent sightings, those bright blue ones. But let me see if I can find another one to verify. Because there was one over here I thought I saw. Here. It's this one. 2/3/23. Okay, so this is just this month. Oh, these people are posting pictures. What do you see here? I don't see. Is that supposed to be the face right there? Yeah, they're saying that's the face. I don't know what that is supposed to be a picture of. Sometimes these people take pictures and it doesn't, and like whatever they're looking at, it just doesn't, it doesn't translate well to a photo. What about this green one? Reported in the last 48 hours. Okay. While behind the creature, as it walked, it was an approximately 3% grade uphill. I could see it walk in a straight line, one foot directly in front of the other with a longer stride. The hair came down to cover the sides and the top of its feet. Its posture was leaning forward, with head and shoulders leaning even farther forward. Its head was round with a slight crest. The hair on most of the body was approximately 3 inches. It had longer hair coming from the head to the shoulders, maybe about 7 inches. It also had longer hair hanging from its arms, from back of the biceps to the wrist area. It hung down. The sun was shining through it, and it was very red, but whereas the sun wasn't shining through it, it was reddish brown. Its feet would come to about 90-degree angle as its stride was effortless. It had never moved up or down as it walked. The most puzzling thing, it never once looked at us or made eye contact. Of course, I didn't have a camera and never thought of it. I'm willing to discuss this in full detail if interested. Until now, I have chosen not to discuss this outside of my family, but I have since retired and I don't care what anyone says. Okay, so this is an old encounter that was just reported. That's crazy. May 1st, 2013. I was walking up the side of the highway, was focused on looking straight ahead, acted like we weren't there. We were in a Ford F-350 Power Stroke pulling 18-foot construction trailer. It had to know we were there. My problem was I had no idea what I was looking at. I slowed down to match its speed, so I had a very good look at this thing. I was able to watch its locomotion from the rear, side, and in front. I was also accompanied with an employee of mine. It walked in a straight line with long arms. The pads of the feet and hands and face was dark gray, fingernails black. Its right arm was swinging as it walked, but left arm was not moving as much, possibly due to an injury. I could see it was a male, even though I was 25 feet from the creature. My passenger was blocking my view, so I didn't get a good look at the face. I suspect that I was looking at a 6-foot juvenile male. Muscular frame weight was maybe 220, looked very athletic. My visual lasted approximately 90 seconds. So he thinks he saw a young Bigfoot. He's very, very detailed description. Very detailed. I love it when they're so detailed like that. So yeah, I guess these are those blue and green. So here's another bright green one. So is this one recent too then, I guess? Yeah, last 48 hours. But this is from a sighting from 2002. A friend of mine I heard wood knocking up on the forested hillside to the south after crossing Rattlesnake Creek here. I heard 3 sets of wood knocks. My friend was behind me and only heard the last set. If I recall correctly, we did not see any other hikers or backpackers in the vicinity. So, wood knocks, very common thing for people to hear. Interesting. But if you start to read like the encounters and stuff, there's a lot of commonalities among them. So when things happen to you, you'll be like, oh, I remember reading about this, right? Like the stench, the wood knocks, the rocks throwing, the vocalizations. So like if you encounter any of these things while you're out in the woods, there just might be a Bigfoot nearby. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I just wanted to look at that real quick. Thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for entertaining my Bigfoot obsession for a day. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. And I will be back tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. Eastern with Mark Sargent for episode 396, I think, of Strange World. And then Saturday with Anti-Religious Scripture Study. And I may or may not do a Friday coffee talk. It depends how I'm feeling. Those are kind of like up in the air. But that's it. I will see you all when I see ya. Right? All right. Later, y'all. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.